Chapter 2741. Kill him, who dares to speak up. Perhaps because the Eastern Spirit Empire had just taken action, the originally dangerous journey did not encounter any unexpected events. The Origin shuttle smoothly crossed the long distance of 1.5 million kilometers and arrived at Luo City. Lin Moyu's eyes showed some disappointment. The situation in Luo City was not much better than in Star City. The entire city had already been destroyed, with hardly a single intact building. There were also many injured people in the city. Curiosity seemed to be a common trait among humans, and even highly skilled cultivators could not avoid it. The people in the city were already busy, and Lin Moyu didn't want to join the commotion. He found the location of the Lufeng Merchant Guild from the air and landed directly. The situation of the Lufeng Merchant Guild was almost identical to that in Star City, with no differences. As for when it would recover, the answer was unknown. Lin Moyu left disappointed and headed to another city, Fengwu City. Fengwu City was one of the cities controlled by the Wu family of Crackwind Cliff. The Wu family had a powerful presence in the southern continent. Because they were close to the coast and near the eastern continent, they were one of the first families to come to the eastern continent. They established many strongholds in the eastern continent, with Fengwu City being one of them. Having experienced Star City and Luo City, Lin Moyu had little hope for Fengwu City. Sure enough, upon arriving at Fengwu City, Lin Moyu saw a similar situation. The Lufeng Merchant Guild in the city was also in a paralyzed state. Each major city generally has strong individuals above the fourth realm of Dao Sovereign guarding it. Once the Eastern Spirit Empire takes action, it's likely that no major city will be spared. In that case, there's no need to visit other cities deliberately, as the situation won't be much different. After some thought, Lin Moyu decided to go to a city established by the Lufeng Merchant Guild itself in the eastern continent, Shang City. All major forces had established cities in the eastern continent, and as one of the top forces, the Lufeng Merchant Guild naturally had its own city. Their city was called Shang City, located near the central part of the eastern continent, deep within it, unlike Lin Moyu's current location, which was still on the eastern side of the eastern continent, near the boundary sea. Shang City was 40 million kilometers away from Fengwu City, and even with the speed of the Origin shuttle, it would take over 20 days to reach. Without the Origin shuttle, it would take Lin Moyu at least 50 days to fly there. The Origin shuttle was not only fast but, most importantly, safe. When flying, it was wrapped in the power of belief, making the Origin shuttle's movements very small and not easily detectable. Without a suitable flying treasure, generally, no one would traverse such a long distance in the eastern continent. Even Dao sovereigns would have to think twice, as they might encounter a powerful spirit beast halfway and die prematurely. Lin Moyu chose his route based on the map he had, and he would pass through 4 major cities along the way to check their situations. He also had to avoid some dangerous areas. When he bought the map from the Lufeng Merchant Guild, it already marked some dangerous zones. Some dangers came from spirit beasts, while others were naturally formed. Thus, the entire journey would be extended to 30 days, adding 10 more days for safety. The Origin shuttle started again, heading towards the target. Lin Moyu leisurely brewed tea in the Origin shuttle, watching the beautiful scenery pass by on both sides. He multitasked, simultaneously comprehending arrays and runes. Lin Moyu could now easily integrate runes into arrays, but he still couldn't make runes form arrays independently. The runes integrated into the arrays were still in a scattered state. However, he felt he had touched this bottleneck, and perhaps with one opportunity, he could break through. Many times, cultivation couldn't just be about moving forward, it also required calming down and taking it slowly. When the lunar origin appeared, it was his cultivation time. Without the support of the 7th grade Spirit Vein's origin power, his cultivation speed slowed significantly. After flying for a day, a gust of wind came, and the originally fast-flying Origin shuttle suddenly slowed down. Lin Moyu frowned and woke up from his cultivation. Under the light of the lunar origin, Lin Moyu saw 2 people standing ahead. They're from the Wu family. Seeing their attire, he recognized their identity. Their clothes bore the mark of the Wu family. Both were Dao sovereigns, but their realms were not high, one at the 1st realm and the other at the 2nd realm of Dao sovereign. In this attack by the Eastern Spirit Empire, they were not among the targets. Lin Moyu used the Divine Light Wood and donned a red scarf, leaving the Origin shuttle. The Divine Light Wood concealed part of Lin Moyu's information, but it was still roughly discernible that he was a heavenly sovereign. Because of the red scarf, they did not discover Lin Moyu's identity as the son of Tai Yin. Lin Moyu looked at the two seniors. Instead of repairing the city in Fengwu City, why are you blocking my way here? Do you have any instructions? Lin Moyu remained calm, his tone neither humble nor arrogant, making the two feel as if they were being looked down upon. Seeing such an attitude, the two were unsure of Lin Moyu's background. The second realm Dao sovereign of the Wu family said loudly, I am Wu Daoqi, a Dao sovereign of the Wu family of Crackwind Cliff. Today, I stopped you to borrow something from you. Lin Moyu asked, with your status, what could you possibly want from me? Wu Daoqi glanced at the origin shuttle beside Lin Moyu, this thing. Lin Moyu frowned. The origin shuttle was precious but not overly so. Was it worth it for a Dao sovereign of the Wu family? Wu Daoqi said, Fengwu City suffered heavy losses in the recent beast tide and needs help from other cities. But we lack flying treasures. Can you lend me your origin shuttle? Without thinking, Lin Moyu shook his head, I'm sorry, but the origin shuttle is of great use to me. With my low realm, I wouldn't get far in the eastern continent without it. Besides, with your strength as a Dao sovereign, your speed shouldn't be much slower than the origin shuttle. Wu Daoqi's expression turned unfriendly, I'm not here to waste words with you. Just tell me, will you lend it or not? I can pay you some origin crystals as a loan fee, and in the future, the origin shuttle will naturally be returned to you. Our Wu family wouldn't stoop to robbing a mere heavenly sovereign like you. Lin Moyu preferred to think the worst of people and didn't believe Wu Daoqi's words at all. He was more inclined to believe that once the origin shuttle fell into their hands, it would never return. Lin Moyu cautiously put away the origin shuttle, fearing they might destroy it out of spite if they couldn't get it. Wu Daoqi's face turned even uglier. Lin Moyu said, the origin shuttle is my lifeline, and I can't lend it out. Please find another way. Wu Daoqi's voice turned low, think again. I'll give you one more chance. Lin Moyu said, if I still refuse, will you take action against me? Wu Daoqi said coldly, yes, and so what? I've tried to reason with you, but if you insist on being stubborn, you'll have to suffer. Suffering probably meant being beaten half to death, which was no different from outright robbery. Lin Moyu said softly, Senior, think carefully. Are you really prepared to rob me? At this moment, the Dao sovereign beside Wu Daoqi finally spoke, Big brother, why waste words with him? Just take it. A mere heavenly sovereign, what can he do? Kill him, and who dares to speak up? Chapter 2742, 2742. Chapter 2742, Weak fortune can be fatal. His words were extremely harsh, but not entirely without reason. A mere heavenly sovereign, if killed, indeed no one would know. In the vast land of the eastern continent, who knows how many heavenly sovereigns die every day, certainly more than one. Lin Moyu's mind flashed with information about the Wu family of Crackwind Cliff. He suddenly realized that the Wu family initially rose to power through robbery. In the beginning, Crackwind Cliff was essentially a bandit nest, and much of the Wu family's secret techniques and wealth were stolen. After discovering a disaster vein within Crackwind Cliff, the Wu family, through generations, finally became a top force. However, their penchant for robbery was deeply ingrained in their souls, unchanged even after many generations. From the start, Lin Moyu never believed they wanted to borrow the origin shuttle, they were likely just coveting it. Initially, Lin Moyu only wanted to refuse, but now, he had murderous intent. Lin Moyu's tone turned cold, and killing intent began to rise, yes, just two Dao sovereigns. Killing you, no one will know. You should be grateful to have survived the Eastern Spirit Empire's attack, not come here to seek death. Lin Moyu's words left the two slightly stunned. They didn't know about the Eastern Spirit Empire, nor did they know about the recent actions, thinking they had just encountered a beast tide. As Lin Moyu finished speaking, the space beside him distorted, and the giant sword Dao sovereign appeared next to him. The aura of a sixth realm Dao sovereign surged into the sky, and the overwhelming pressure made the two men's faces change drastically. Before they could speak, Lin Moyu had already ordered, kill them. The giant sword Dao sovereign wasted no words, his fingers turned into a sword, and the power of the great Dao spread, forming a giant sword that slashed down on the two. Spare us, Senior, the two shouted in unison, but it was too late. Under the pressure of the sixth realm Dao sovereign's great Dao, their bodies were sliced like tofu, completely obliterated by the sword energy, leaving no blood rain, only a few pieces of flesh falling to the ground. Lin Moyu sighed, why seek death when you could live as Tao sovereigns? He waved out a large amount of undead flames, enveloping the ground. The two who had just died were revived in the flames, crawling back to Lin Moyu. The two were brothers, the elder at the second realm of Tao sovereign named Wu Daoqi. The younger, at the first realm of Tao sovereign, was named Wu Daoshan. Both were collateral members of the Wu family, and although they had reached the Tao sovereign realm, their status was ordinary and the resources they received were not much. After becoming Tao sovereigns, their potential was deemed insufficient, and they were sent to the eastern continent. After questioning, Lin Moyu learned that they were indeed after his origin shuttle. The value of the origin shuttle was very high, especially for Tao sovereigns. Not only because of its unique flying method and high safety but also due to its rarity. Since the destruction of the Heavenly Sword sect, the number of origin shuttles in existence has only decreased, becoming increasingly rare. If Lin Moyu didn't agree to lend it, they would indeed kill him to seize it. The Wu family had a secret technique that could extract most of the items from the real world after killing someone. This secret technique had earned the Wu family a lot of wealth in its early days. Without this secret technique, the Wu family's development would have been much slower, possibly by thousands of years. In thousands of years, anything could happen, and the Wu family might not even exist today. Lin Moyu threw the two into the real world, leaving them for the human emperor to gather information. Unfortunately, the teleportation array in the real world could only send living beings out, directly to Yudao City. Revived beings in the undead army couldn't use the teleportation array to reach Yudao City. To send them there, Lin Moyu would have to do it himself. Now that Lin Moyu was not near Yudao City, it was impossible. After this small episode, the origin shuttle resumed its journey, following the predetermined route. Lin Moyu put away the red scarf and the divine light wood, and the Tai Yin symbol on his forehead remained bright. In that short time, the power of the red scarf had been consumed by 1/10. At this rate, it could be used 9 more times. Unfortunately, I still can't set up that array. I'll have to use it sparingly. If I could find a few more treasures like the red scarf, that would be great. When I reach Shang City, I'll definitely look for some. With my fortune, it's not impossible. Suddenly, Lin Moyu paused, thinking of a possibility. The Wu family, after all, was a large family. Logically, after so many generations, they shouldn't need to resort to robbery. Wu Daoqi and his brother seemed to be robbing for the origin shuttle, but it felt inexplicable. Lin Moyu suddenly realized a key factor: fortune. The Eastern Spirit Empire's actions this time were likely for fortune. Killing Tao sovereigns above the 4th realm to seize their fortune. If this were true, then the Tao sovereigns in Wu City were killed, and their fortune was seized. The fortune taken wasn't just the Tao sovereigns' own but also the fortune suppressed by the origin spirit vein for many years. This meant that Wu Daoqi and his brother's fortune had also been invisibly seized, reducing their fortune to a very low level, leading to their current situation. Lin Moyu had seen the effects of extremely low fortune. When Xiaowu cursed someone, forcibly lowering their fortune, everything they did would fail, and every choice would be wrong, even affecting their thinking. Perhaps it was this low fortune that led them to make the wrong decision to rob Lin Moyu's origin shuttle. Extremely low fortune made them choose a path leading to their demise. Lin Moyu increasingly felt the mysterious nature of fortune. No wonder it was something all major forces fought over. His identity as the son of Tai Yin wasn't that important. What truly mattered was the fortune that came with it. Lin Moyu sorted out his thoughts, seeing his path more clearly. Looking back, he realized that every step he had taken was correct. Finding the origin spirit vein, establishing a force, and enhancing his fortune. Because of his strong fortune, he became the son of Tai Yin. Because he became the son of Tai Yin, his fortune grew even stronger. Everything seemed to be moving in a positive direction. As long as he maintained this, perhaps one day, a fortuitous encounter would elevate his realm and lead to a breakthrough. Just like encountering the Hell Fragment this time, it might also be related to fortune. If only I could observe fortune directly like Xiaowu, Lin Moyu sighed, collecting his thoughts and resuming his cultivation. The origin shuttle, wrapped in the power of belief, silently crossed the sky, flying towards the distance. The journey became quiet, with the sun and lunar origins alternating. 7 days later, Lin Moyu arrived at a large city. This city, named Xuaning City, had also suffered a great disaster, but its situation was slightly better than the previous cities. The Lufeng Merchant Guild in this city was not destroyed, but its arrays had lost contact with those in other cities, making it an isolated island. Transactions couldn't be conducted, so although it wasn't damaged, it was paralyzed. Chapter 2743, 2743. Chapter 2743, The Intact Shang City. The Origin shuttle followed Lin Moyu's route, avoiding dangerous areas and passing through several major cities along the way. These major cities were all similarly attacked, without exception, and were basically destroyed. The Dao Sovereign Realm experts left were only a few, and without exception, all those above the Fourth Realm were killed. In the Eastern continent, facing the Eastern Spirit Empire, escape was impossible. However, information about the Eastern Spirit Empire had hardly spread out, and everyone thought it was a beast tide. Those powerful Dao sovereigns who disappeared were believed to have led the beast tide away to protect the majority. Almost no one truly knew about the Eastern Spirit Empire. Logically, no matter how tightly information was controlled, it couldn't be sealed to this extent. Both humans and demons have curiosity, and curiosity leads to exploration. But now, everyone believed it was a beast tide, which was very strange. It seemed as if an invisible and powerful force had changed everyone's thoughts. Lin Moyu was slightly horrified in his heart, wondering what level of power could invisibly change everyone's thoughts. What was the real reason the Eastern Spirit Empire, as a hidden force, could remain hidden for so many years? This question puzzled Lin Moyu. The days of cultivation passed quickly, and after more than 30 days, the Origin shuttle finally arrived at Shang City. The journey of 40 million kilometers, apart from the initial incident with the Wu family, was relatively smooth. It could only be said that the map from the Lufeng Merchant Guild was too accurate, allowing him to avoid all dangers. Otherwise, encountering a Sixth Realm Dao Sovereign Spirit Beast would have been troublesome. A huge city appeared ahead, and Lin Moyu's eyes narrowed slightly. It's actually intact. The cities he encountered along the way were all left in ruins, but as the main base of the Lufeng Merchant Guild in the Eastern continent, Shang City was surprisingly unscathed. The arrays were still functioning normally, and the entire city appeared orderly. Shang City's scale was not smaller than other major cities, and it was impossible for it not to have high realm Dao sovereigns guarding it. Otherwise, how could the Lufeng Merchant Guild rank among the top forces? In Lin Moyu's view, the Lufeng Merchant Guild was no less powerful than any force in the southern continent. Activating the Eye of the Undead, he saw numerous soul flames. There were many Dao sovereigns in Shang City, but none above the Fourth Realm. Lin Moyu was slightly surprised. So many Third Realm Dao sovereigns, but not a single Fourth Realm one. How is that possible? And one Fourth Realm Dao sovereign wouldn't be enough, at least a Sixth Realm Dao sovereign is needed. Could it be that the Lufeng Merchant Guild received some information and had the High Realm Dao sovereigns leave early? Lin Moyu thought of a possibility. The Lufeng Merchant Guild should know about the existence of the Eastern Spirit Empire. They were well informed and might have known about the Eastern Spirit Empire's impending action, so they left early. In any case, Shang City being intact was good news for Lin Moyu, making the long journey worthwhile. Putting away the Origin shuttle, he entered Shang City through the main gate. Shang City had only two entrances, one from the east and one from the west, with no other routes. At the east gate, many people were entering Shang City, and Lin Moyu followed the crowd into the city. As he entered the city, an array suddenly lit up. Immediately, a soft and pleasant voice sounded in Lin Moyu's ear. "Honored guest, welcome to Shang City. I am Lu Lian, the manager of Shang City. How can I assist you? If you need anything, you can contact me directly through the guild's membership token." When Lin Moyu heard the voice, he looked around. He noticed that others around him showed no reaction, many still chatting with their friends, clearly not hearing Lu Lian's voice. Lin Moyu took out his Lufeng Merchant Guild membership token and saw it glowing faintly. He realized that his status as a high-level member gave him this privilege. The membership token emitted a peculiar power, connecting with the city's array. Lin Moyu's mind moved, and he communicated with the token. "Please introduce Shang City to me." "Certainly, sir. Shang City was established 830,000 years ago. It is one of the oldest cities in the Eastern continent and the only one that has remained intact and unchanged for 830,000 years. Shang City is divided into 4 areas. The first area is reserved for our guild and is currently not open to the public. The second area is the trading area. Shang City is a commercial city where fair and just transactions can be conducted. Besides our Lufeng Merchant Guild, several other guilds also have branches here. There is also a free trading market in the trading area where all cultivators can trade freely. You might find some unique items there. However, the quality of items in the free trading market varies, and you might buy low-quality items at high prices or find high-quality treasures at low prices. The third area is where various forces have their bases. Shang City provides them with corresponding land and origin spirit veins. Currently, most 5-star and above forces from the southern continent have bases here. If you wish to establish a base, you can apply, and we will select a suitable location for you. The fourth area is for leisure and entertainment, with food, drinks, and various amusements. You can explore it at your leisure. Since this is your first visit to Shang City, I must remind you that besides humans, you will encounter other races here, so don't be surprised. Shang City has strict rules, and no one is allowed to use force inside. You don't need to worry about safety. After hearing the introduction, Lin Moyu had a clear understanding of Shang City. With 830,000 years of history, Shang City had developed a highly comprehensive system. Moreover, Lu Lian gave Lin Moyu a familiar feeling. He sensed that Lu Lian was not a real person but a technological artifact, like the human emperor, used to manage the entire city. Lin Moyu asked, "Lu Lian, are you a technological artifact?" Lu Lian replied directly, "Yes, my main body is a technological artifact, but I have developed a spirit. I am the artifact spirit of this technological artifact, not an ordinary one. If you prefer to trade with a human, I can arrange that for you." Lin Moyu smiled, "Don't worry, I find communicating with you very pleasant. In my force, we also have a technological artifact managing everything, and we trust it very much." A pleasant laugh sounded in his ear, Lu Lian's laugh, clearly pleased by Lin Moyu's words. Lu Lian said, "If you need anything else, feel free to ask." Lin Moyu said, "I want to buy some items and ask you some questions." Lu Lian immediately said, "I will arrange a trading room for you. Would you prefer to trade with me or with a human?" Without hesitation, Lin Moyu chose to trade with Lu Lian. Chapter 2744, 2744. Chapter 2744, I've made a fortune, spending it won't harm my luck. In the mall, one can often see many independent and exquisite houses. Most of these houses are empty and uninhabited. After Lu Lian's explanation, Lin Moyu learned that these houses were trading rooms reserved by the Lufeng Merchant Guild. Besides a massive trading center, many transactions were completed in these trading rooms. This setup protected the privacy of some individuals. Some people disliked entering the trading center and being surrounded by many onlookers. Others simply disliked crowded places and were referred to as recluses. Lin Moyu didn't mind and let Lu Lian handle the arrangements. Soon, Lu Lian arranged a trading room, a small house with a courtyard that exuded tranquility. Upon entering the courtyard, an array silently activated, isolating the area from the outside world. Lin Moyu observed the courtyard, a small pond with water emitting a light mist, an ancient tree shading the courtyard, and a tea table with tea already prepared, its fragrance gently wafting. Everything in the courtyard, from the pond to the tea table and tea set, was a magical artifact. The courtyard's decoration was simple yet exquisite. Just the scent of the tea and the sound of the water could make one feel at ease. The person who designed this courtyard must have been a serene individual. A soft light flickered, projecting the image of a graceful young woman. Lu Lian's power interfered with reality, directly condensing a physical form using the power of the Great Tao. She was beautiful, and her clothes, adorned with lotus flowers, were also a manifestation. Lu Lian bowed slightly to Lin Moyu. "Sir, are you satisfied with this trading room?" Lin Moyu smiled, "Very nice. If I'm not mistaken, this courtyard should be designed by Miss Lu." Lu Lian gracefully walked to the tea table and personally poured tea for Lin Moyu. "Sir has a keen eye." Lin Moyu sat down and slowly sipped the tea. "I'll get straight to the point. I need to buy quite a few things this time. Please go ahead, sir." Lin Moyu extended a finger. "First, I want to purchase all available information on the Eastern Continent, Western Continent, and Northern Continent. I mean all information, including forces, geography, and the distribution of spirit beasts. The more detailed, the better." Lu Lian's beautiful eyes looked at Lin Moyu. "We have the information, but the price?" Lin Moyu laughed. "I recently had some fortuitous encounters and made a fortune. I think I should spend some of it, or it might harm my luck." Lu Lian smiled beautifully. Sir's words seemed to make some sense. Lin Moyu laughed. Calculate the price for me. Lu Lian said, all right, let me calculate. Please wait a moment, sir. Lu Lian, a technological artifact spirit, was more lively than other artifact spirits, almost like the human emperor. The human emperor had human souls residing within the artifact, giving it such wisdom. Lu Lian, on the other hand, had evolved over countless years, constantly learning and interacting with people, becoming what she was now. Her wisdom surpassed that of most people. Lin Moyu drank his tea, waiting quietly. He knew that his request required a vast amount of information. Even if he obtained the information, it would take a long time to absorb and digest it. After about 2 minutes, Lu Lian finished calculating. I have divided the information you requested into 3 levels. The most basic information costs 200,000 third-grade origin crystals. Intermediate information costs 200,000 third-grade premium origin crystals. Advanced information costs 2 million third-grade premium origin crystals. This price is already discounted for you. Lu Lian projected a screen, detailing the differences between the 3 levels of information. Each set of information had its distinctions. The basic information provided general introductions, while the intermediate information was more detailed, covering internal relationships of some forces. The advanced information, customized to Lin Moyu's requirements, was the most comprehensive, including detailed introductions of various forces and historical events. The advanced information was like an encyclopedia, almost fully summarizing the situations of the major continents. However, the price of 2 million third-grade premium origin crystals was enough to scare many people to death. Even a 6-star force like the Lei family might not be able to come up with so many origin crystals. Lu Lian feared that Lin Moyu wouldn't be able to afford it, so she divided the information into levels for him to choose from. While Lin Moyu reviewed the information, Lu Lian explained, it's the first time I've encountered someone like you buying information on all continents. In the history of our guild, no one has ever purchased information like this. Actually, the basic information is already sufficient. Lin Moyu understood Lu Lian's intention and smiled. I said I recently made a fortune and need to spend it to avoid harming my luck. I'll take the most advanced information. With that, Lin Moyu waved his hand, and a pile of origin crystals appeared beside him. A total of 207th grade premium origin crystals, piled together, emanating pure and powerful origin energy. Lu Lian's eyes sparkled slightly. Sir's fortune is indeed astonishing. Lin Moyu laughed. It is indeed astonishing, so I won't feel at ease until I spend it. Lu Lian was straightforward, gathering a large amount of information and activating an array to send over a pure white pearl. The pearl was large, about the size of a fist, and its hazy glow gave a sense of weight. Lu Lian held the pearl. Sir should know the rules. Lin Moyu smiled. I understand. He immediately made a soul oath, ensuring that the information obtained today would not be leaked to the outside world. The transaction was completed happily, with Lin Moyu receiving the pearl, which he then sent to the human emperor for absorption and organization. The information was vast, and even the human emperor would need considerable time to organize and analyze it. Moreover, some information was outdated and needed to be compared with the current situation. It couldn't be blindly trusted. The information's main role was to provide basic data for various analyses. Lu Lian collected the origin crystals. Does Sir need to purchase anything else? Lin Moyu laughed. How do you know I still want to buy more? Lu Lian said, I think Sir's fortune hasn't been fully spent yet. Lin Moyu laughed. Indeed, it hasn't been fully spent. Let's continue. I'll list what I need, and you see what you can find. Lu Lian said, please go ahead, sir. I'll search for you. Lin Moyu listed his needs, starting with technological artifacts for the human emperor. On the Jufeng warship, Lin Moyu had bought a technological artifact, giving the human emperor a foothold in the origin continent. Now, Lin Moyu wanted to buy more technological artifacts to enhance the human emperor's power. With Yudao City's expanding scope and the increasing strength of cultivators in the city, the human emperor also needed to enhance its power for better management. Next, Lin Moyu listed many other needs, all of which were high-priced and extremely rare treasures. Chapter 2745, 2745. Chapter 2745, The world is full of unexpected events. Lin Moyu listed the items he needed: the Great Tao Undying Pill, the Life and Death Origin Grass, Time Sand, and Space Crystals. Each of these items was incredibly precious and almost priceless. The Great Tao Undying Pill was a 7th Realm Tao Sovereign Elixir. The Life and Death Origin Grass was also a 7th Realm Tao Sovereign Treasure. Time Sand was an 8th Realm Tao Sovereign Treasure, and only the Space Crystals were slightly less precious, reaching the 6th Realm of Tao Sovereign. Normally, these items would appear in auction houses and would rarely be available for direct purchase. The Lufeng Merchant Guild would not usually advertise them. Lu Lian showed a hint of difficulty. Sir, the items you want are all of very high level. Lin Moyu smiled. Indeed, they are not low-level items. However, I believe the Lufeng Merchant Guild can obtain them. Lu Lian thought for a moment. In a few days, we will hold an auction. How about we? Before she could finish, Lin Moyu shook his head and refused. I don't like competing with others. I want to buy directly. You name the price, and I'll see if I can accept it. I've made a significant fortune recently, so you can feel free to set the price. Moreover, these items, including the previous information, are not all of our transactions. Lin Moyu indeed had made a huge fortune, brought by the infinite fusion. He still had 2,000 7th grade premium origin crystals on him. Saying he was as wealthy as a nation would be an understatement. Lu Lian said, to be honest, I don't have the authority to decide on items above the 6th realm of Tao Sovereign. Among the items you want, I can only make decisions about the space crystals. For the others, how about I contact the guild's elder and have him conduct the transaction with you? Lin Moyu smiled. That works. Lu Lian contacted the guild's elder. Lin Moyu wasn't very familiar with the internal structure of the Lufeng Merchant Guild, but he had dealt with the third elder before. At that time, he had bought 2 Great Tao Undying Pills from the third elder. He had known the Great Tao Undying Pill was precious, but now he realized it far exceeded his imagination. Back then, he had bought each pill for 80,000 third-grade premium origin crystals, which now seemed not expensive at all. Lu Lian quickly got a response, her eyes sparkling. The elder said he can conduct the transaction with you in person. Please follow me. Lin Moyu stood up slowly. Lead the way, Miss Lian. Lu Lian led Lin Moyu towards the southeastern part of the city. The southeastern area of the city was the private area of the Lufeng Merchant Guild, usually off-limits to outsiders. However, with Lu Lian leading the way, they had no obstacles. There were few people in this area, and those they encountered wore the guild's attire. Lin Moyu could tell that these people were quite talented, all of them geniuses. This showed the impressive foundation of the Lufeng Merchant Guild. Lin Moyu even had the illusion that the guild's base in the eastern continent was its true headquarters, while the branches in the southern continent were just outposts. The people they passed recognized Lu Lian but were curious about Lin Moyu. It was clear that outsiders rarely entered this area. However, no one questioned them, as Lu Lian's presence implied important business. Moreover, Lu Lian held a high status in the guild, managing the entire city, making her the de facto chief manager. Many guild members greeted her respectfully. Lin Moyu smiled. It seems the guild members respect you a lot, Miss Lian. Lu Lian smiled. As the chief manager here, I handle many affairs, so they naturally show some respect. She led Lin Moyu to a courtyard and stopped. Lu Lian activated an array, and the gate opened automatically, allowing them to enter. There were no arrays inside the courtyard, indicating the owner's confidence in their strength, not needing array protection. Lin Moyu sensed a powerful aura far exceeding the third realm of Tao Sovereign. Before entering the city, Lin Moyu had used the Eye of the Undead and saw no Tao Sovereigns above the third realm. He had thought the guild's Tao Sovereigns had left after receiving a warning. But it turned out not to be the case. Lu Lian led Lin Moyu through the courtyard, and the scene suddenly changed, with space-time distorting. Lin Moyu realized they had entered another dimension. The space was filled with origin power, forming an independent world, almost completely isolated from the outside. However, seeing Lu Lian still present, Lin Moyu knew there must be a way to connect with the outside world, otherwise, Lu Lian wouldn't be here. In this space, Lin Moyu sensed a powerful aura. It seems that Spirit Beast isn't omnipotent, there will always be some who slip through the cracks. If the Lufeng Merchant Guild can do this, other forces should be able to as well. But why were other cities completely destroyed? Puzzled, Lin Moyu reached the deepest part of the space. The space wasn't large, only about a kilometer in diameter. At the deepest part of the space, there was another small courtyard. Lin Moyu knew this courtyard was inhabited, while the outer courtyard was just a decoy or a positioning coordinate. In the courtyard sat a dignified middle-aged man. Lin Moyu was stunned and blurted out, "Third elder." The man in the courtyard was indeed the third elder of the Lu family. The third elder smiled warmly at Lin Moyu. "Lin, my young friend, long time no see." Lin Moyu respectfully greeted him. "Greetings, third elder." The third elder waved his hand. "No need for such formalities, be at ease." Lin Moyu said, "I didn't expect to meet you here, third elder." The third elder smiled. "The world is full of unexpected events. Our meeting here is a kind of fate. I heard from Lu Lian that you want to buy some rare treasures." Lin Moyu nodded. "Yes." The third elder said, "Come, sit down. No need to rush, let's talk slowly." Lin Moyu walked to the table and sat down, while Lu Lian prepared tea for the two. Lin Moyu reiterated his needs, and the third elder smiled. "Let's discuss each item one by one. First, the technological artifacts. As you know, technological artifacts are rare. Can you tell me why you need them?" Lin Moyu said, "I have a friend, a human, who, due to an accident, fused with a technological artifact. He also refined his talent into an independent and unique entity. My question is there a way to restore my friend to his human form? And the entity he refined, which has evolved over the years and now has independent thoughts like a real being, can it also become a real living being?" Previously, Lin Moyu had bought information on technological artifacts from Lu Yuan but didn't find an answer. Now, with the profound third elder present, Lin Moyu raised his question again. Chapter 2746, 2746. Chapter 2746, The Rebirth Route, Origin Ancestral Land. The third ancestor gave Lin Moyu a mysterious feeling. Previously, he had only seen a shadow through the array, and the feeling wasn't deep. But now, seeing the real person, he felt something entirely different. Lin Moyu sensed an ancient and profound aura from the third ancestor. Even when facing the Thunder Taoist, he didn't have this feeling. Lin Moyu instinctively felt that the third ancestor of the Lu family was older than the Thunder Taoist. However, given such a long lifespan, the third ancestor should normally be in a self-sealed state. But he clearly wasn't, which was peculiar. Perhaps he had some secret method to maintain this state, but for Lin Moyu, these were secondary concerns. The longer one lives, the more one knows. Lin Moyu only wanted answers from him. The third ancestor leisurely sipped tea, cup after cup, seemingly deep in thought. Lu Lian didn't disturb him, just kept refilling his tea. After a while, the third ancestor suddenly spoke. "Xiao Lian, I remember there's a treasure called the Rebirth Route, right?" Lu Lian replied, "Yes, the Rebirth Route is a supreme treasure of the ninth realm. Its function is to allow a soul to parasitize it, using the soul as a foundation to re-evolve into a living being. No matter the race, the Rebirth Route can evolve into the corresponding race based on the soul, with no difference from the original." The third ancestor said, "Your problem can be solved with the Rebirth Route." Lin Moyu's eyes brightened. The problem that had troubled him for so long could be solved so easily. Indeed, living long means knowing more. Lin Moyu asked, "Does the Merchant Guild have it for sale?" Lu Lian shook her head. "We obtained a rebirth route 400,000 years ago, but we haven't acquired one since. That rebirth route has already been used." Lin Moyu showed a hint of disappointment. Even the Lufeng Merchant Guild couldn't obtain such a treasure, making it extremely difficult for him to acquire it. The third ancestor laughed. "Even if there were a rebirth route, you couldn't afford it." Lin Moyu's eyes flickered, seemingly not believing it. He was confident in his wealth. If it wasn't enough, he could continue to fuse and get as much as needed. As long as there was a price, he didn't believe he couldn't afford it. The third ancestor laughed. "There are many treasures of the ninth realm, but the rebirth route is expensive because of the words, innate supreme treasure. You need to understand what innate means. It's a treasure nurtured by the great Tao, born of heaven and earth. Xiao Lian, check how much that rebirth route sold for back then." Lu Lian immediately provided the price, a top-tier 9th grade origin spirit vein. If converted to origin crystals, it would be 100,000 8th grade premium origin crystals, or 10,000 8th grade world-class origin crystals, or 10 9th grade world-class origin crystals, or 10 8th grade supreme origin crystals. Lu Lian listed a series of prices, leaving Lin Moyu astonished. A top-tier 9th grade origin spirit vein couldn't even be traded. As far as he knew, even the Holy Lands in the southern continent had only 8th grade origin spirit veins, and they were striving for their veins to upgrade. Someone actually traded a 9th grade origin spirit vein for a rebirth root. The rebirth root's function was merely to resurrect a person. Was it really worth that much? As for other items of equivalent value, Lin Moyu realized he truly couldn't produce them. He once thought he was wealthy, but now he saw he was still a pauper. He had thought his wealth could compare with top forces, but now he saw he was truly a frog in a well, too narrow-minded. The wealth of the Lufeng Merchant Guild far exceeded his imagination. By extension, the wealth of top forces also far exceeded his imagination. The third ancestor looked at Lin Moyu's expression and suddenly laughed heartily. "Your expression is really amusing." Lin Moyu's mouth twitched slightly. This senior seemed to have some peculiar hobbies. Lu Lian explained, "Back then, the rebirth root was consigned to us for sale, and we didn't charge the consignor any fees. The Lufeng Merchant Guild actually sold items for free, which made Lin Moyu feel even stranger." The third ancestor stopped laughing. "Don't be surprised. The identities of both the buyer and seller were extraordinary. There are things you don't know, and I can't tell you." Lin Moyu took a deep breath. "Then, senior, can you tell me how to obtain a rebirth root?" The third ancestor glanced at Lu Lian, signaling her to answer. Lu Lian said, "This question has a fee, and it's very expensive. It costs 100,000 third-grade premium origin crystals." Such an expensive question exceeded Lin Moyu's expectations. It seemed the answer to this question wasn't simple. Lu Lian continued, "Don't think it's expensive. If you weren't a high-level member, you wouldn't even qualify to buy it." Lin Moyu took out 10 7th-grade premium origin crystals and directly bought the answer. At this point, he couldn't give up over such a small amount of money. Lu Lian accepted the payment and immediately presented the information to Lin Moyu. The information wasn't much, just a few thousand words, but Lin Moyu memorized it with a glance. After reading the information, Lin Moyu's eyes showed a hint of surprise. The rebirth root comes from the origin ancestral land. The worlds within the Sea of Realms evolved from the origin world, which also comes from the origin ancestral land. Lin Moyu had only known that the origin world came from a mysterious place, and now he learned that place was called the origin ancestral land. Not everyone could enter the origin ancestral land. The conditions for entry were stringent, and only those recognized by the origin could enter. There were many ways to gain the origin's recognition, but no one could explain them clearly. Every time the origin ancestral land opened, those who qualified would sense it and could go there. The number of people who could go each time was limited, not many. Everyone who went would keep the origin ancestral land's secrets and wouldn't reveal its details. A mysterious force prevented them from divulging the information. Even the Lufeng Merchant Guild knew very little about the origin ancestral land. The origin world was one of the greatest gains from the origin ancestral land. Many people entered and only obtained the origin world. Some people found the origin world useless and sold it. The Lufeng Merchant Guild was their first choice, and countless origin worlds were sold through the guild. It could be said that at least half of the worlds in the Sea of Realms were sold through the Lufeng Merchant Guild. Lin Moyu murmured, "How can I enter the origin ancestral land?" The third ancestor smiled. "No one knows the selection criteria for the origin ancestral land. It's not about having a high realm or strength. But one thing is certain, you must be above the Dao sovereign realm to qualify. So, if you want to enter the origin ancestral land, you must first become a Dao sovereign." Lin Moyu nodded, "I understand. A senior once told me the same thing, but becoming a Dao sovereign is difficult. I can only try my best, not knowing when the origin ancestral land will open again." The third ancestor said, "It's hard to say. It might open tomorrow, or it might take another 100 or 1,000 years. But according to past records, it should open within 1,000 years. Opening within 1,000 years meant he had to become a Dao sovereign within 1,000 years. The difficulty was not small. Suddenly, Lin Moyu's forehead lit up, and the Tai Yin symbol began to flash. Chapter 2747, 2747. Chapter 2747, We Won't Misjudge People. The Tai Yin symbol flashed brightly, causing the third ancestor to exclaim in surprise, and even Lin Moyu was taken aback. The timing is off. It shouldn't be time for the Tai Yin to appear yet. Lin Moyu had calculated the time when he arrived, and there should still be a while before the Tai Yin origin appeared. Why was the Tai Yin symbol appearing now? The Tai Yin origin wouldn't have any issues, so the problem must be here. There was an issue with the flow of time here. The Tai Yin symbol flashed, but its frequency and rhythm were different from before. Lin Moyu sensed it slightly and confirmed his suspicion. The flow of time here was much slower than outside. He had only been here for a short while, but a long time had passed outside, with a difference of several times. This explained why the third ancestor could live so long here. 1,000,000 years might have passed outside, but it could be just tens of thousands of years here. For a Tao sovereign, living tens of thousands of years was perfectly normal. The third ancestor's voice sounded, "So, the recently famous son of Tai Yin in the southern continent is you." Lin Moyu maintained his composure and smiled slightly. "Third ancestor, you're too kind. It was just a coincidence that I became the son of Tai Yin. But I don't understand much about being the son of Tai Yin. I was hoping to ask you for guidance." Since he had been discovered, Lin Moyu decided to shamelessly ask the third ancestor about the son of Tai Yin. He also gambled that the third ancestor wouldn't want to kill him. The Lufeng Merchant Guild was different from other forces. They had never developed their own power in the southern continent and seemed uninterested in power struggles. Over the years, no matter which force rose or fell in the southern continent, the Lufeng Merchant Guild remained neutral. They only cared about doing business and making profits. The third ancestor's eyes showed a deep meaning, as if mocking Lin Moyu's cleverness. It was as if he was saying, "Do you think such a small trick can fool me?" However, even if the third ancestor guessed it, he didn't say it out loud. "Since you are the son of Tai Yin, as long as you become a Tao sovereign, you will surely have a place in the origin ancestral land. You have seen the information about the origin ancestral land. That information is not as simple as it appears. Study it carefully. When you return, it might help you. The identity of the son of Tai Yin is special. Most people only know that the son of Tai Yin has extremely strong fortune and will inevitably rise to power. Having the son of Tai Yin means having his fortune, which greatly benefits one's own force. After all, much of the competition on the origin continent is for fortune. The secret of the son of Tai Yin needs to be explored by yourself. No one knows it except for the sons of Tai Yin throughout the ages. Even our Lufeng Merchant Guild only knows that the son of Tai Yin carries a great secret, directly pointing to the origin of the great Tao." The third ancestor's words made Lin Moyu feel a sense of gravity. The identity of the son of Tai Yin contained a great secret pointing to the origin of the great Tao. Clearly, many top forces might not know this, but the Lufeng Merchant Guild did, showing their profound foundation. Lin Moyu remembered this favor from the third ancestor. Lin Moyu said, "Thank you for the reminder, third ancestor. I will remember it." The third ancestor laughed. "All right, we've talked long enough. Let's get to business. After all, you came here to buy things. Let's go through them one by one. First, the technological artifacts you want. These artifacts are very precious and can't be measured by ordinary standards. Each has its own price." "Xiao Lian, bring out the Wisdom Heart Pearl." Without hesitation, Lu Lian took out a pearl. The pearl was about the size of a baby's fist, covered in runes that were incredibly complex, far more intricate than any runes Lin Moyu had seen before. These runes intertwined and formed a three-dimensional structure, with countless layers. Looking at it made Lin Moyu feel dizzy. His soul power drained rapidly, and Lin Moyu quickly closed his eyes, realizing that this Wisdom Heart Pearl was extraordinary. With his current soul realm, there were still things he couldn't look at. The third ancestor asked, "Can you discern the level of this Wisdom Heart Pearl?" Lin Moyu shook his head. "My knowledge is insufficient to determine it." The third ancestor laughed. "It's right that you can't see it, because it has no level. Do you know where technological artifacts come from? Think about it with your wisdom, you should be able to figure it out." Lin Moyu smiled wryly. "Third ancestor, are you testing me?" The third ancestor smiled without speaking, clearly indicating that Lin Moyu should think about it. Lin Moyu felt helpless. The third ancestor seemed serious but enjoyed making jokes at times. He didn't know the origin of technological artifacts, only that they existed in the great world and were numerous. But since the third ancestor asked, he had to think about it. Having been on the origin continent for so long, Lin Moyu had collected a lot of information but never found the origin of technological artifacts. So, technological artifacts must come from. Lin Moyu thought for a moment and had an answer. "I'll take a guess. If I'm wrong, please don't laugh at me, third ancestor. In my opinion, technological artifacts can only come from two places. One is the Sea of Realms, where various worlds exist, and some might be technology-based cultivation worlds. The other should be the Origin Ancestral Land. Although I don't know what the Origin Ancestral Land is like, the information mentioned that it contains everything. So, having technological artifacts is normal. Strictly speaking, the Sea of Realms originated from the Origin World, and the Origin World comes from the Origin Ancestral Land. So, technological artifacts should come from the Origin Ancestral Land. The third ancestor smiled with satisfaction. You're right. Technological artifacts do come from the Origin Ancestral Land. But do you know why there are technological artifacts in the Origin Ancestral Land? Lin Moyu shook his head, genuinely not knowing. The third ancestor laughed heartily. It's right that you don't know, because I don't know either. Lin Moyu was speechless. Who would have thought the answer would be like this? The third ancestor really liked making jokes. After laughing for a while, the third ancestor returned to normal. I want to make a deal with you. I can give you a 50% discount on this Wisdom Heart Pearl, but I have a condition. When you enter the Origin Ancestral Land, you must share the information you obtain there with us. Of course, I only ask for the information you can share. If there are things you can't say, I won't force you. If the information you share is valuable, I can refund the cost of the Wisdom Heart Pearl and even give you more. Lin Moyu was puzzled. Senior, this deal seems a bit unfair. What if I don't share a single word? Wouldn't you lose out? The third ancestor shook his head. I trust my judgment and also trust Feng Yao's judgment. We won't misjudge people. Lin Moyu said softly. In that case, I can only accept your offer. How much is the Wisdom Heart Pearl after the discount? Chapter 2748. 2748. Chapter 2748. A year of many events. The old king dies, the new king is born. Lu Lian quoted a price that left Lin Moyu speechless. Even after a 50% discount, the Wisdom Heart Pearl still cost 2 million third-grade premium origin crystals. 2 million third-grade premium origin crystals were equivalent to the price of all the precious knowledge accumulated by the Lufeng Merchant Guild over countless years. Even a 6-star force might go bankrupt trying to afford it. However, the functions of the Wisdom Heart Pearl were very attractive to Lin Moyu. It could merge with any technological artifact and allow a soul to enter it. The Wisdom Heart Pearl was of an extremely high level. Once merged, it would break the current limits of the human emperor, rapidly enhancing its power. In addition, the Wisdom Heart Pearl had many other abilities that the user would need to discover themselves. Lin Moyu took out the origin crystals, and the transaction was completed. The third ancestor squinted his eyes. Young friend, your windfall is truly enviable. Lin Moyu's expression remained unchanged. The windfall is indeed substantial, so I need to spend it to avoid harming my fortune. The third ancestor naturally didn't believe Lin Moyu's nonsense. Alright, let's continue. Next is the Great Dao Undying Pill. The Great Dao Undying Pill is a 7th realm Dao sovereign treasure. Previously, I sold it to you at a lower price, but its true value is much higher. However, I won't take advantage of you. I'll sell it to you at the original price of 100,000 per pill, and I can sell you up to 3 pills. Lin Moyu knew that the Great Dao Undying Pill was difficult to refine, and even the Lufeng Merchant Guild wouldn't have many in stock. Moreover, as a life-saving item, the Lufeng Merchant Guild could easily sell it at a high price in auctions. Lin Moyu agreed immediately. I'll take 3 pills. Thank you, senior. However, I have a request. If you get more Great Dao Undying Pills in the future, please prioritize selling them to me. The third ancestor smiled. All right, I'll remember that. Lu Lian, standing by, said, I'll make a note of it. Lin Moyu and the third ancestor continued their transaction. Life and Death Origin Grass, Time Sand, Space Crystals. Each item was extremely precious, and each had a sky-high price, but Lin Moyu didn't hesitate and bought them all. By the time the transaction was complete, the total amount had reached an astonishing 5 million third-grade premium origin crystals. The third ancestor squinted his eyes. Not to mention 6-star forces, even the top 7-star forces in the southern continent wouldn't have much more wealth than this. Lin Moyu smiled without saying a word. Explaining at this point would be pointless. If the third ancestor had any malicious intent, Lin Moyu wouldn't be able to resist. Lin Moyu couldn't see through the third ancestor's realm. He only felt that it was very high, and killing him would be as easy as flipping a hand. Not to mention the third ancestor, even Lu Lian. As the chief manager of the mall, Her combat power in the mall was equally terrifying. After the transaction was completed, the third ancestor asked, "All right, is there anything else you want to buy?" The implication was clear. If there was nothing else, it was time for Lin Moyu to leave. Lin Moyu smiled, "Of course, there's more. I want to buy information on arrays, artifact refining, and alchemy, as comprehensive as possible." The third ancestor scrutinized Lin Moyu, "Are you planning to build your own force?" Lin Moyu nodded, "Indeed, I have that intention." The third ancestor asked, "Have you found an origin spirit vein?" Lin Moyu didn't deny it, "Yes, I have. By the way, if possible, I'd also like to buy an origin spirit vein." The third ancestor glared at him, "We don't have that, don't even think about it. Even if we had one, we wouldn't sell it." Lin Moyu smiled sheepishly. He had anticipated this answer. Everyone wanted an origin spirit vein. If the Lufeng Merchant Guild had one, they would use it themselves, not sell it. Lu Lian had already calculated the price. The total for all the information on arrays, artifact refining, and alchemy is 1 million. All right. Lin Moyu didn't hesitate and directly took out 107th grade premium origin crystals. He paid for all transactions with 7th grade premium origin crystals. In front of the third ancestor, there was no need to hide. After the transaction was completed, the third ancestor asked, "Anything else?" Lin Moyu nodded, "The next information I want to buy, I guess Senior has it, but whether Senior is willing to sell it, I don't know. I'll just mention it. If it's not for sale, please don't take offense." The third ancestor nodded slightly, "Go ahead." Lin Moyu said, "I want to buy information about the Eastern Spirit Empire." There was a sudden silence. Lin Moyu felt the third ancestor's aura fluctuate for a moment. In that instant, he seemed to see a terrifying presence, exuding invincible majesty, overlooking all beings. But it was only for a moment, and the third ancestor's aura quickly calmed. The third ancestor asked in a low voice, "How did you know?" Lin Moyu shook his head, "I can't say. I just know. I wanted to ask if Senior is willing to sell it." The third ancestor asked, "How did you know we have information about the Eastern Spirit Empire?" Lin Moyu said, "I guessed. This time, the Eastern Spirit Empire attacked various major forces. Along the way, I saw that all the major cities were in ruins, and all beings above the fourth realm of Dao Sovereign had disappeared, likely having met a tragic end. Only the mall remains intact. I didn't see any beings above the fourth realm of Dao Sovereign in the city. I initially thought the guild had received information and evacuated all beings above the fourth realm of Dao Sovereign. But seeing you here, Senior, overturned my guess. It seems the Lufeng Merchant Guild has a way to avoid detection by the special spirit beast of the Eastern Spirit Empire. Moreover, Miss Lu Lian mentioned that this city has existed for 830,000 years and has never been attacked. So I boldly guessed that the Lufeng Merchant Guild either knows about the Eastern Spirit Empire and can avoid its actions, or has a connection with the Eastern Spirit Empire, so it won't be attacked." Lin Moyu didn't hide anything and directly stated his guess. As he spoke, he carefully observed the third ancestor's expression and aura. He hoped to see some clues, but apart from the initial fluctuation, the third ancestor remained calm and composed. After Lin Moyu finished speaking, the third ancestor said calmly, "Finished?" Lin Moyu nodded, "Yes, finished." The third ancestor said, "Then I'll tell you, we do know about the Eastern Spirit Empire. Not only us, but the top forces in the southern continent also know. But no one will say anything, nor can they, due to our agreement with them. There are deep complexities involved, beyond your reach. However, this time, the Eastern Spirit Empire's actions were somewhat unexpected, possibly related to their new ruler. We still need to discuss the specifics with the Eastern Spirit Empire." The third ancestor sighed, "The old king is dead, and a new king is born. All previous agreements are void. Who knows how the Eastern continent will change next? A year of many events, truly a year of many events." Lin Moyu's heart surged, "The old king is dead, and a new king is born. The Eastern Spirit Empire has a new ruler. Could the new king be Antares?" Lin Moyu thought it was highly possible and asked, "Do you know who the new king of the Eastern Spirit Empire is?" Chapter 2749, 2749. Chapter 2749, The Old Fox and the Young Fox. The third ancestor looked at Lin Moyu with a peculiar expression, as if asking why he was so concerned about the king of the Eastern Spirit Empire. Regardless of the turmoil in his heart, his face remained expressionless. After a moment, the third ancestor seemed to have not discerned anything and said, "The new king is very mysterious. There isn't much information about him. All we know is that after he became the new king, the Eastern Spirit Empire underwent some changes, seemingly becoming more aggressive." Lin Moyu asked, "Could you tell me what the Eastern Spirit Empire was like before? If it requires payment, just name your price." The third ancestor chuckled, "The guild doesn't sell information about the Eastern Spirit Empire, but I can chat with you privately." Lu Lian, "Don't record my conversation with Lin." Lu Lian immediately responded, "Understood." Lin Moyu perked up his ears, knowing that what the third ancestor was about to say couldn't be recorded. The third ancestor continued, "The Eastern Spirit Empire is an empire purely composed of spirit beasts, and it is the oldest empire in the entire Eastern continent, so ancient that it cannot be traced back. For some unknown reasons, very few people know about the Eastern Spirit Empire. Even if some do, they tend to forget after a while. The Eastern Spirit Empire is extremely mysterious. Since the moment we knew about it, it has always been shrouded in mystery. No one knows why they do this, and no one knows what their goals are. Every once in a while, the Eastern Spirit Empire launches attacks on other forces in the Eastern continent, mostly targeting those above the fourth realm of Tao Sovereign. Occasionally, they also destroy cities, but as long as the resistance isn't too fierce, they won't go for the kill." Lin Moyu asked, "When I first arrived in the Eastern continent, I saw the city of the Heavenly Sword sect destroyed by spirit beasts. Was that also the work of the Eastern Spirit Empire?" The third ancestor thought for a moment and shook his head lightly. "No, that wasn't the work of the Eastern Spirit Empire. Someone in the Heavenly Sword sect offended 10 powerful spirit beasts. That fool stole a spirit beast's child, intending to make it a pet. As a result, the entire city was destroyed, and no one survived. Sometimes, people can be really unlucky. This time, with the new king's ascension, the Eastern Spirit Empire swept through the entire Eastern continent. Most of those above the fourth realm of Tao Sovereign didn't escape." Lin Moyu looked at the third ancestor and thought to himself, "But you escaped." He asked, "According to you, are there others above the fourth realm of Tao Sovereign who escaped this calamity?" The third ancestor replied, "Of course. Do you think the top forces are just for show? They naturally have their own methods." Lin Moyu was puzzled, "But those large cities, were they deliberately sacrificed?" The third ancestor said, "More or less. There was indeed an element of deliberate sacrifice." "Why?" Lin Moyu's heart trembled. Sacrificing those above the fourth realm of Tao Sovereign was like sacrificing the backbone of the major forces. The third ancestor snorted, "Those old guys are ruthless. Some people have reached a dead end in their cultivation. Keeping them around is useless. If they continue to live, measures must be taken to seal them. It's better to take the opportunity to get rid of them. As for why, you can guess slowly." The third ancestor deliberately kept Lin Moyu guessing, even though he knew the answer but didn't want to reveal it. Lin Moyu thought for a moment, "Is it because of fortune?" The third ancestor's eyes narrowed, Lin Moyu's answer clearly exceeding his expectations. He said softly, "It seems you know quite a lot. I've told you so much, it's your turn to speak." Lin Moyu said, "I have speculated that the purpose of the Eastern Spirit Empire's actions this time is likely for fortune. After hearing what you said, it seems to match. Although those above the fourth realm of Tao Sovereign can provide fortune to their forces, they also occupy a large amount of fortune themselves. If their path is blocked, the fortune they occupy will exceed the fortune they provide. At this point, from the perspective of fortune, they become harmful rather than beneficial to their forces. Although those above the fourth realm of Tao Sovereign are extremely powerful, some top forces do not lack such experts. Those who truly hold high positions care more about fortune. Only vast fortune can propel them forward. So, for some Tao sovereigns who have reached a dead end, they become obstacles to the progress of those in power." Listening to Lin Moyu's analysis, the third ancestor squinted and said, "It seems you have a deep understanding of fortune. You're right, fortune is indeed very important on the origin continent. Without fortune, nothing can be achieved. That's why, as the son of Tai Yin, you will be watched by countless people. The higher your realm, the stronger your fortune, and the more people will target you. Previously, various forces only sent ordinary Tao sovereigns after you. When you become a Tao sovereign, those targeting you might be powerful Tao sovereigns." Lin Moyu took a deep breath, "I understand. That's why I came here. I want to buy something from you." The third ancestor smiled. You want to buy something to conceal the Tai Yin symbol, right? Items containing the power of the sun origin are rare, and not all of them are suitable. Lu Lian, check if we have anything in the warehouse. Lu Lian immediately searched, and within a minute, she shook her head. We don't have anything suitable. We did have one before, but it was sold. The third ancestor said, the power of the sun origin is difficult to control. You can find an 8th grade or higher artifact refiner to make one for you. The price should be affordable, but the materials are hard to find. Lin Moyu said, actually, I have one, but it has usage restrictions and needs to be recharged. Previously, on the Jufeng warship, the array in the room could recharge it. So, I want to buy the method to set up that array. Lin Moyu was just testing the waters. He knew that the array on the Jufeng warship was likely not for sale. He had already grasped most of the array's setup and could try to set it up when he reached the Dao Sovereign Realm. Even if it took hundreds or thousands of attempts, he would eventually succeed. Buying it now was just for immediate use and to test the Lufeng Merchant Guild's limits. The Jufeng warship was the foundation of the Lufeng Merchant Guild, so it was naturally their bottom line. The third ancestor's expression revealed nothing, indicating his experience and wisdom. Lin Moyu couldn't see through him. The third ancestor didn't answer directly but said, it seems your fortune is indeed extraordinarily strong. Take out your item and let me have a look. Having no choice, Lin Moyu took out the red scarf. The third ancestor examined it without expression and then said to Lu Lian, bring a sun stone. Lu Lian brought out a bright red stone that emitted the power of the sun origin. The stone and the red scarf were almost identical in color. The third ancestor placed the sun stone on the red scarf, and Lin Moyu immediately felt the power of the sun origin flowing into the scarf. The depleted power in the scarf was quickly replenished. The replenishment speed wasn't fast, slower than the array on the Jufeng warship. Lin Moyu thought, sun stone, I've never heard of this material. What exactly is it? Chapter 2750, 2750. Chapter 2750, The Limits and Foundations of the Lufeng Merchant Guild. Lin Moyu had never heard of a material called sunstone. Not only him, but even Ji Yu Hanyu probably didn't know about it. If she did, she would have told him. Moreover, with the capabilities of the Coldwater Holy Land, there would be no material they couldn't obtain unless they didn't know about it at all. The third ancestor merely tried it out and then returned the red scarf to Lin Moyu. He played with the sunstone. Do you want it? His tone carried a hint of teasing, a half smile as he looked at Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu instinctively nodded, I want it. Name your price. The third ancestor shook his head, not for sale. In the entire origin continent, only we can produce sunstones, so it's not for sale. As expected, obtaining it wouldn't be that simple. Lin Moyu sighed helplessly, then name your conditions. He knew that since the third ancestor asked, he naturally intended to give it to him. If it wasn't for sale, then there must be conditions. The third ancestor said, 2 conditions. As long as you agree, I will provide you with enough sunstones. The first condition, do not disclose the existence of sunstones to anyone. Is that even a condition? Lin Moyu was slightly stunned but quickly agreed. However, from this condition, he realized that the existence of sunstones was extraordinarily significant. It was likely that the leaders of some top forces knew about it, and sunstones had extraordinary meaning. The second condition, in the future, you must help me with something, which might be dangerous. Lin Moyu asked, how dangerous? The third ancestor thought for a moment, 30% chance of injury, 30% chance of death. Lin Moyu took a deep breath. A 30% chance of death meant a 70% chance of survival. He wasn't afraid of injury as long as he could survive, he could recover from any injury. If it was just dying once or twice, it wasn't a big deal. For others, it might be a 30% chance of death, but for him, it might be 10%, or even lower. The third ancestor squinted his eyes and asked, do you agree? Lin Moyu said, I agree. Do you need me to make a soul oath? The third ancestor laughed heartily, no need. If you break your promise, I will come for you personally, and you won't be able to escape. Even if you hide under the Sea King's butt, it won't help. The third ancestor was very confident in his own strength, even the Sea King couldn't stop him. The information revealed was immense, making Lin Moyu extremely shocked and giving him a new understanding of the third ancestor's strength. The third ancestor's strength was actually stronger than the Sea King. Or rather, not weaker than the Sea King. The Lufeng Merchant Guild was deeply hidden, no wonder the top forces in the southern continent were always respectful towards them. The third ancestor had Lu Lian take out 9 sun stones, placed them in a box, and handed it to Lin Moyu. 10 sun stones should be enough for you. But remember, don't let anyone know about the existence of sun stones, or your troubles will be greater than being the son of Tai Yin. And those who come looking for you will definitely be the top experts from various forces. Lin Moyu smiled wryly. He found that the secrets he carried were increasing, and he was becoming less able to show himself. It seemed the best way was to hide somewhere and cultivate to the 9th realm of Dao Sovereign before coming out. But he knew this wasn't a good solution. Some things seemed to be destined by fate, beyond his control. After putting away the sun stones, the third ancestor once again sent him away. Lin Moyu, led by Lu Lian, left the place. Lin Moyu didn't leave the mall but planned to stay for a few days and explore it. This trade city was fascinating, especially the free trade market, where strange items often appeared. Lu Lian arranged accommodation for Lin Moyu, temporarily lending him the small courtyard where they had previously conducted their transaction, free of charge. With a transaction amount reaching an astonishing 7 million, the rent for a small courtyard was insignificant. As Lin Moyu left, Lu Lian created a clone and appeared before the third ancestor. Lu Lian asked, "Third ancestor, you seem to value him highly." The third ancestor nodded. "You should have tested his fortune, right? How strong is it?" Lu Lian nodded. "Very strong." The third ancestor smiled. "Actually, there's no need to test. Being the son of Tai Yin, his fortune must be strong." Lu Lian said, "Much stronger than the previous sons of Tai Yin, and significantly so." The third ancestor raised an eyebrow. "Has he reached the peak of fortune?" Lu Lian said, "Not yet, but he should be close." The third ancestor said, "If he reaches the peak of fortune, the chances will be greater. Let's hope he doesn't disappoint." Lu Lian asked, "Should we inform Miss Feng Yao? After all, he is her old friend." The third ancestor said, "Yes, Feng Yao happens to be here. Inform her." Lin Moyu sat in the small courtyard, contemplating his meeting with the third ancestor. The gains were substantial, and the third ancestor's strength was beyond his comprehension. Moreover, he was the third ancestor of the Lufeng Merchant Guild. Were there also a second ancestor, a first ancestor, and others? The strength of the Lufeng Merchant Guild was immeasurable. Lin Moyu squinted his eyes, his gaze somewhat scattered, murmuring to himself, "Although I can't see the upper limit, at least I've touched the bottom line. The Jufeng warship should be the foundation of the Lufeng Merchant Guild. If I'm not mistaken, the Lufeng Merchant Guild not only relies on the Jufeng warship but also has other great secrets." When he mentioned the array on the Jufeng warship, the third ancestor avoided the topic and instead brought out the sunstone. The more he avoided it, the more obvious it became. Even if the third ancestor said nothing, he had already given the answer. He was telling Lin Moyu in another way not to target the Jufeng warship. Taking out a sunstone, Lin Moyu wrapped it in the red scarf. The sunstone's origin power automatically flowed into the red scarf. The power consumed by the red scarf was being slowly replenished, though not quickly, it was stable. Lin Moyu continued to ponder, hoping to analyze more information. He handed the Wisdom Heart Pearl to the Human Emperor, but the Human Emperor couldn't merge with it. The Wisdom Heart Pearl's level was too high, and the Human Emperor's own power was too weak to control it. Moreover, part of its power had already reached Yudao City, further complicating the fusion. The best solution was for Lin Moyu to return to Yudao City and personally assist the Human Emperor in merging with the Wisdom Heart Pearl. For now, this matter had to be postponed. The Human Emperor began absorbing the information Lin Moyu had purchased. The more detailed the information, the more complete and accurate the Human Emperor's analysis would be. The vast amount of information would keep the Human Emperor busy for a while. After thinking about the Lufeng Merchant Guild and the third ancestor, Lin Moyu began contemplating matters related to the Eastern Spirit Empire. From the third ancestor's tone, it was clear he was also wary of the Eastern Spirit Empire and didn't want to offend them. Clearly, the Eastern Spirit Empire was not as simple as it seemed. What was hidden behind the Eastern Spirit Empire? As a hidden force in the Eastern continent, what role did it play? Lin Moyu felt an urge to visit the Eastern Spirit Empire and see if the new king was Antares. But he knew it wasn't the right time. He didn't even know how to get to the Eastern Spirit Empire. If he went and the king wasn't Antares, how would he handle it? Knock, knock, knock. The sound of knocking came through the array. Chapter 2751, 2751. Chapter 2751, Shouldn't we get to know each other, Ji-yu Hanyu? At this moment, the sun's origin was in its prime. Lin Moyu closed the courtyard array and felt a familiar aura approaching, causing a smile to form on his lips. Standing gracefully at the courtyard gate was the tall and elegant Lu Fengyao, smiling warmly at him. Lin Moyu smiled back, "Sister Fengyao, what brings you here?" Although they hadn't known each other for long and hadn't seen each other for a while, they still felt like old friends, with no sense of unfamiliarity. Lu Fengyao was as beautiful as ever, and her temperament had changed since becoming a Dao sovereign. Perhaps growing up in the Lu Feng Merchant Guild and holding a significant position in her family, Lu Fengyao always had an air of authority. However, this aura was not off-putting. Instead, it highlighted her grace. Her nobility was different from Ji-yu Hanyu's. Ji-yu Hanyu's demeanor was cold and unapproachable. Lu Fengyao's nobility, on the other hand, was warm and approachable, making her seem easy to talk to, yet maintaining a sense of distance. Lu Fengyao walked into the courtyard as if it were her own home. "So, you like living in places like this?" Lin Moyu smiled. "I don't have high requirements for my living environment." Lu Fengyao smiled but didn't comment further. Instead, she asked, "Didn't you say you'd come find me when you arrived on the origin continent? Did you forget?" Lin Moyu laughed. "I did look for you twice. The first time, you weren't back yet. The second time, you were in seclusion, breaking through to Dao Sovereign." Lu Fengyao nodded. "The third time, it's my turn to find you. Are you free? I'll show you around the mall." "I'd love to." Lin Moyu readily agreed. Lu Fengyao led Lin Moyu towards the northwest side of the mall, chatting as they walked. "There's nothing much to see elsewhere. The most interesting place in the mall is the free market in the northwest. You can always find something fun there." Lin Moyu's interest was piqued. "What's so fun about it?" Lu Fengyao said, "Have you ever seen people arguing? Not just shouting at each other but really arguing without physical confrontation." Lin Moyu laughed. "Isn't that just a shouting match?" Lu Fengyao immediately denied it. "It's different from an ordinary shouting match. They can't use their cultivation to fight, but they can use it to amplify their voices, making them super loud. Especially when there's a difference in cultivation levels, those with higher cultivation can shout so loudly that those with lower cultivation might vomit blood." Lin Moyu was amazed. "So they use their cultivation to strengthen their voices but can't attack with it, only suppress. Shouting someone into vomiting blood is quite a sight." It was evident that such occurrences were not rare, judging by Lu Fengyao's expression, indicating she had seen it many times. Lin Moyu asked, "Did you also live in the mall before?" Lu Fengyao nodded. "Yes, I was born and raised here and cultivated here, though I've been to other places. I've visited the southern, western, and northern continents and am familiar with many places. Feel free to ask if you have any questions." "Great," Lin Moyu said shamelessly, not holding back at all. They chatted leisurely as they walked, taking their time. Facing Lu Fengyao, Lin Moyu had no intention of probing for information. Their conversation was natural, with no pretense or hidden agendas. He even let down his guard a bit. Sometimes, Lin Moyu felt that Lu Fengyao was somewhat similar to Lin Mohan, just a gentler version. Though he had no intention of probing, Lin Moyu still learned a lot. Lu Fengyao was born and raised in the mall, then traveled with the Ju Feng warship to other continents, gaining experiences beyond ordinary people's reach. Given her status, being born in the mall indicated that the mall was the Lu Feng Merchant Guild's headquarters. No wonder the Lu Feng Merchant Guild had no base in the southern continent. Their true headquarters was in the eastern continent. Lin Moyu also realized that the Lu Feng Merchant Guild had high expectations for Lu Fengyao, given her rigorous training. At less than 7,000 years old, Lu Fengyao had already become a Dao sovereign, a true prodigy. In the origin continent, those who became heavenly sovereigns within 10,000 years were considered geniuses. Those who became Dao sovereigns within 10,000 years were considered prodigies. Lu Fengyao was one of the top prodigies, standing out among her generation in the Lu Feng Merchant Guild. Lu Fengyao said, "In a few days, there will be a gathering in the mall. Are you interested in joining?" Lin Moyu asked, "What kind of gathering?" "It's a gathering of prodigies from our generation," Lu Fengyao explained. She elaborated that the gathering was for those under 10,000 years old who had become Dao sovereigns. Every 1,000 years, these prodigies would gather to discuss and validate their learnings. The gathering was always held in the mall. Lu Fengyao had attended a few times before, but only as an observer due to her special status. This time, she could participate directly. As a prodigy, she had the right to bring one person along, and she wanted to give that spot to Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu felt that this spot was precious. After all, it was a chance to meet the most outstanding prodigies of the current generation, and many would want to go. He didn't expect Lu Fengyao to offer it to him. Lu Fengyao smiled brightly. What do you think? Want to see what the prodigies of this generation are like? I think you'll have the chance to interact with them in the future. These prodigies came from various top forces, many groomed as future leaders. The gathering was not just a meeting but also a competition. To be honest, Lin Moyu was tempted. After all, they were prodigies, and it would be interesting to see them. Lin Moyu smiled. Would giving me the spot make things difficult for you? Lu Fengyao laughed heartily. It's my spot, I decide. What's difficult about it? Who dares to make it difficult for me? Lin Moyu gave a thumbs up. Impressive. Lu Fengyao patted Lin Moyu's shoulder. I think you'll be better than them once you become a Dao sovereign. During the gathering, there will be many saintesses from top forces. You should take a good look. If you fancy someone, I'll help you propose. Lin Moyu was momentarily speechless, shaking his head. No need, no need. Lu Fengyao laughed. Don't be shy. Marriage is normal. Lin Moyu said, I already have a wife, so there's no need to trouble you, Sister Fengyao. Lin Moyu thought to himself, do all sisters have the same trait? His own sister was like this, and so was Lu Fengyao. Lu Fengyao's eyes lit up. I didn't expect you to be married already. What a pity. When will you introduce your wife to me? Lin Moyu quickly said, there will be a chance. Introduce her. Should he introduce Ji Yu Hanyu? Better not. Ji Yu Hanyu might kill him. Suddenly, a roar came from ahead. Lin Moyu's eyelids twitched, and his spiritual sense tingled. He sensed a special aura. Chapter 2752, 2752. Chapter 2752. Just set up your stall, why so much nonsense? The free market came into view, a massive square with each side over 100,000 meters long. The square was enormous, with stalls set up every 10 meters, all arranged by cultivators themselves. The Lufeng Merchant Guild managed the market, and each stall was free of charge. Even if transactions occurred, the guild took no commission. There was only one rule. If a stall had no transaction record within 10 days, it had to leave the free market and could only return after another 10 days. This was a cooling-off mechanism set by the Lufeng Merchant Guild. Apart from this, there were no other regulations. The guild didn't care about the quality or price of the items sold. Everything depended on the buyer's discernment. Many people thought the Lufeng Merchant Guild was doing a good deed by providing such a large free trading venue for so many people. If they charged fees or took commissions, they would make huge profits. Many people were grateful to the Lufeng Merchant Guild for this. However, Lin Moyu saw through the guild's cleverness immediately. All the cultivators who came here to trade wouldn't sell inferior items. Cultivators' knowledge was limited compared to the experts in the Lufeng Merchant Guild, who often didn't know the true value of their items. The guild could send people to scout the market, picking up valuable items at low prices, making even more profit. If they charged fees or took commissions, it might deter some cultivators from coming. Perhaps similar markets existed in major cities, spreading valuable items across various places. It was better to have most cultivators gather here for transactions. The Lufeng Merchant Guild's strategy was indeed brilliant. Moreover, the free market wasn't limited to human cultivators. Demon cultivators and members of the 100 Herb Alliance also frequented it. Occasionally, one could even see dragon and Buddhist cultivators. Only the insect clan didn't appear here. In front of the free market, two people were glaring at each other, shouting angrily. Their speech was rapid, and their cultivation not only amplified their voices but also increased their speed. The foul language they hurled at each other was incredibly harsh, cursing each other's ancestors for 18 generations. If one's realm and Dao heart weren't strong enough, they could easily be overwhelmed. Lin Moyu sensed that these curses contained ghostly soul impacts. However, these soul impacts weren't strong enough to violate the Lufeng Merchant Guild's regulations, so they weren't stopped. Lu Fengyao seemed excited, didn't expect to see this right away. Isn't it fun? A dignified Dao sovereign and the young lady of the Lufeng Merchant Guild found such cursing matches interesting. It was indeed amusing. Lu Fengyao said, "Whenever I hit a bottleneck in my cultivation, I come here to listen to a few cursing matches, and my bottleneck naturally breaks." Lin Moyu found it fascinating. The world was indeed full of wonders. However, Lin Moyu wasn't interested in the cursing match, his attention was elsewhere. Scattered on the ground between the two people were various items. Among them, one item emitted a faint spiritual energy. The spiritual energy was extremely weak but persistent. Lin Moyu, with his strong spiritual sense, detected it. Could it really be a spiritual material? Lin Moyu wondered. He came to the trading market hoping to find spiritual materials. Previously, when purchasing items from the third ancestor, he had also expressed his desire to buy spiritual materials. The Lufeng Merchant Guild did have spiritual materials, but only those suitable for heavenly sovereigns. They also had spiritual materials for Dao sovereigns, but those were sent to the Jufeng warship and weren't available in the market. Lin Moyu speculated that even if the main guild had high-level spiritual materials, they were likely consumed internally and wouldn't be sold. He could only try his luck at the free market, hoping to find a hidden gem. He didn't have high hopes, knowing that the guild's people had already scoured the market many times. Unexpectedly, he found something right away. Lin Moyu realized that even the guild's people weren't infallible. He might indeed have a chance to find something valuable. Lin Moyu asked softly, "How long do these cursing matches usually last?" Lu Fengyao said, "It varies. Some last just a few minutes, while others can go on for a whole day. Judging by their states, one is a mid-level heavenly sovereign, and the other is a high-level heavenly sovereign. The outcome should be clear soon." Indeed, the high-level heavenly sovereign was already suppressing the other, and the result wouldn't take long. Lin Moyu wasn't in a hurry and watched the commotion with Lu Fengyao. Few cultivators in the market came to watch, perhaps because they were used to such scenes. No one touched the scattered items on the ground, as with Lu Fengyao, the chief manager, around, no one dared to steal. The Lufeng Merchant Guild didn't intervene in everything, but they did maintain order in the market. Lu Fengyao watched with great interest, even taking out snacks to eat, like a true spectator. A Dao sovereign-level spectator wasn't unusual here. After half an hour, the match ended. The high-level heavenly sovereign won, becoming arrogant and domineering despite not gaining any tangible rewards. The reason for their argument was simple: a stall. They were at the entrance of the trading market, the best spot. The mid-level heavenly sovereign had been there for over 9 days without making a sale. According to the rules, he had to leave on the 10th day and could only return after 10 days. The high-level heavenly sovereign wanted his spot and started setting up a few hours early, leading to the argument. The mid-level heavenly sovereign, having lost the argument, packed up his things to leave. The item that caught Lin Moyu's attention belonged to him. Before he could finish packing, Lin Moyu approached. "Fellow Taoist, are you still selling your items?" The man looked at Lin Moyu, seeing that he was also a mid-level heavenly sovereign, and replied politely, "Of course, but don't think you can take advantage of me just because I lost the argument." Lin Moyu smiled, "I won't haggle. Please set up your items so I can take a look." The man stared at Lin Moyu. "Are you serious about buying?" Lin Moyu said, "I need to see the items first." At this moment, Lu Fengyao spoke, "Just set up your stall." "Why so much nonsense?" The man, already frustrated, was about to get angry but noticed Lu Fengyao was a Dao sovereign. His anger vanished instantly. He wouldn't dare offend a Dao sovereign. While fighting wasn't allowed in the market, it didn't mean it couldn't happen outside. If a Dao sovereign targeted him, his life would be miserable. He quickly set up his items. "Please take a look." The high-level heavenly sovereign who had won the argument glanced at Lin Moyu, seemingly wanting to say something, but seeing Lu Fengyao, he closed his mouth. Chapter 2753, 2753. Chapter 2753, Consider yourself lucky, I wish you good business. Lin Moyu examined the items on the stall. They were all materials, and their quality was quite good. He casually asked about the prices of a few items, and they weren't cheap. For the same price, one could buy better materials from the Lufeng Merchant Guild. After a few inquiries, Lin Moyu noticed that the prices were inconsistent. Some high-quality materials were priced low, while some less valuable items were priced high. After several inquiries, Lin Moyu confirmed that this fellow Taoist didn't really know the value of his items. During his inquiries, Lin Moyu discreetly asked about the price of the material that seemed to have spiritual properties. The seller quoted 103rd grade premium origin crystals, which wasn't very high. Lin Moyu picked up a few materials, including the one with suspected spiritual properties. I'll take these items. According to your prices, it's a total of 533rd grade premium origin crystals, right? The mid-level Dao sovereign nodded. That's correct. Without hesitation, Lin Moyu paid the amount. Having just completed a transaction with the third ancestor, this amount felt insignificant to Lin Moyu. However, to the seller, 533rd grade premium origin crystals was a significant sum. He held the origin crystals in disbelief. You're not going to haggle? Lin Moyu smiled. No haggling. Watching you two argue was like paying for a ticket. Wait a minute. Suddenly, a voice called out, and a person walked over quickly. The newcomer was a Dao sovereign, looking young and exuding a powerful aura. His eyes fixed on the materials in Lin Moyu's hands. I want those materials. Name your price. It was unclear whom he was addressing. Lin Moyu ignored him and put the materials into his storage space. The young Dao sovereign's eyes narrowed. Didn't you hear what I said? Lin Moyu chuckled. What did you say? Sorry, I didn't hear you. You. The young Dao sovereign's face changed, anger rising. At this moment, Lu Fengyao stepped in front of Lin Moyu. What do you want to do? Seeing Lu Fengyao, the young Dao sovereign noticed she was also a Dao sovereign, and his anger subsided. However, he still maintained an arrogant demeanor. Who are you to him? I want to buy his materials. Before he could finish, both Lu Fengyao and Lin Moyu said in unison, not for sale. After saying this, they exchanged smiles, showing their tacit understanding. The young Dao sovereign's anger flared again. Do you know who I am? Lu Fengyao was even more forceful. It doesn't matter who you are. Even if you're the master of a holy land, you must follow the rules of the mall here. If you don't understand, go ask your elders how to behave in the mall. Lu Fengyao's tone was like scolding a servant, her powerful aura making her seem like the mistress of the place, looking down on him. Usually, Lu Fengyao was just noble, but once she displayed her aura, she was a true superior. To be precise, the Lu Feng Merchant Guild was grooming Lu Fengyao as a superior. The young Dao sovereign was suppressed by Lu Fengyao's forcefulness, his face turning red, his fists clenched tightly, and the air crackled with tension. At this moment, a faint rumble of thunder echoed in the air, indicating the mall's array was active. Lin Moyu knew Lu Lian had noticed the situation. In the end, the young Dao sovereign didn't make a move. Gritting his teeth, he said, fine, remember this. Don't let me catch you outside the mall. With that, he left in anger, disappearing quickly. Such incidents were common in the free market, attracting little attention. The free market had existed for countless years, and all sorts of dramatic events had already occurred. The veterans here were no longer interested in such spectacles. Only if someone actually started a fight would it become interesting. Lu Fengyao said, that person should be one of the prodigies attending the upcoming gathering. Lin Moyu smiled. He kept calling himself, young master, so he must be a successor groomed by some force. His strength is indeed impressive, becoming a Dao sovereign at such a young age. Luckily, you were here, Sister Fengyao. Otherwise, I wouldn't know how to handle it. Lu Fengyao rolled her eyes at Lin Moyu, knowing he was just being polite. She knew very well what Lin Moyu was capable of. Before becoming a heavenly sovereign, he could already defeat heavenly sovereigns, leaving many high-level heavenly sovereigns speechless. Now, as a mid-level heavenly sovereign, it was hard to say if he could handle a Dao sovereign. Suddenly, Lu Fengyao realized something. When she first met Lin Moyu in the Sea of Realms, it hadn't even been 300 years. In such a short time, Lin Moyu not only became a heavenly sovereign but also a mid-level heavenly sovereign. Calculating his age, Lin Moyu was not yet 3,000 years old, possibly not even 2,500. A heavenly sovereign at this age was enough to suppress those prodigies. Lu Fengyao even thought Lin Moyu might become a Dao sovereign before turning 4,000. A Dao sovereign within 5,000 years was almost unheard of in the history of the origin continent. Lin Moyu watched the direction the young Dao sovereign disappeared, his eyes filled with caution. He wasn't wary of the opponent's strength or realm. A first realm Dao sovereign was insignificant. He was cautious of the opponent's spiritual sense, as the person was clearly after the spiritual material. The opponent's strong spiritual sense indicated a powerful soul and exceptional cultivation talent. I wonder if he sensed the spiritual material through his spiritual sense or some other means. If it's through spiritual sense, I must be cautious. Such people are not to be underestimated. Lu Fengyao said, don't mind such people. Let me show you around the market. There are some unspoken rules you might want to know. Lin Moyu smiled, I'm all ears. They chatted as they wandered through the market. The two heavenly sovereigns who had been arguing earlier were left staring at each other. The mid-level heavenly sovereign who had lost the argument suddenly grinned, sorry, I can stay for another 10 days. With Lin Moyu's purchase, he indeed could stay for another 10 days. This was a rule set by the Lufeng Merchant Guild and had to be followed. Time was controlled by Lu Lian, and there would be no mistakes. A countdown timer projected beside the stall, which was about to run out, now had a new balance. The high-level heavenly sovereign who had won the argument didn't dare to get angry. Lu Fengyao's aura had stunned him, and he couldn't recover for a long time. Only after Lu Fengyao disappeared did he breathe a sigh of relief, glaring at the other, consider yourself lucky. I wish you good business. With that, he dove into the free market to find a new stall. In the free market, even finding a stall location was up to oneself, truly embodying the spirit of freedom. Lu Fengyao led Lin Moyu around the market, explaining some of the unspoken rules. Lin Moyu looked at the various stalls, feeling the items, and listened to Lu Fengyao. Sometimes, when he saw something useful, he would stop to ask the price and buy a few items. Not necessarily for himself, but for the people of Yudao City. After all, it was his own force, and even a hands-off leader had to show some care. Chapter 2754, 2754. Chapter 2754, The War on Panlong Island. Lu Fengyao was puzzled, why are you buying so many random things? Lin Moyu replied, I established a small force in the eastern continent. Lu Fengyao's eyes sparkled with surprise, you actually established your own force. Lin Moyu nodded, yes. Lu Fengyao gave a thumbs up, I didn't expect you to have such high ambitions, Lin. What level do you plan to develop your force to? Lin Moyu shook his head lightly, I don't know. I'll take it one step at a time. But everyone needs a goal, right? Lu Fengyao agreed, indeed. To reach greater heights, there are only a few ways. But the way you've chosen will be very tough. Lin Moyu didn't mind, I'll go as far as I can. For cultivators, the higher they go, the more they need fortune. It's not just about effort without fortune, at best, one might achieve half the results with twice the effort, and after thousands of years, gain nothing. At worst, one might die and disappear. Fortune plays a role in the unseen, affecting one's thoughts and leading to wrong choices. After reaching the sixth realm of Dao Sovereign, the role of fortune becomes even more prominent. At that point, most rogue cultivators almost lose the possibility of advancing further. Only those born with great fortune have a chance to advance further. At this time, one needs to find ways to gain more fortune. An origin spirit vein can suppress fortune, gather fortune, and establish a powerful force above it, gathering a large amount of fortune and clearing the path forward. Some people exhaust their potential and can't advance their realm. Not only did they fail to provide fortune, but they also consume the fortune of their force. Such people are ruthlessly abandoned, which is why the third ancestor said those old guys are ruthless. Thinking carefully, one can't entirely blame them. After all, everyone wants to advance, and if you block my path, I'll naturally find a way to remove you. The longer one lives, the less they want to die, and the more ruthless they become. Establishing a force is one way, but there are other ways. For example, using secret methods to devour others' fortune. After finding an origin spirit vein, instead of establishing a force, one can choose to merge the origin spirit vein into oneself, gaining the fortune contained in the vein. Or one can seek various treasures that can enhance fortune. There are many methods, and Lin Moyu chose the most stable one. Lu Fengyao naturally understood the inside story and could see through Lin Moyu's approach. She said softly, with your talent, you could also choose to join a top force and gain a large amount of fortune. Lin Moyu shook his head, that would mean being controlled by others. I value my freedom too much. Lu Fengyao sighed, all right, then I can only wish you good luck. Establishing a force carries great risks, especially in the eastern continent. Lin Moyu smiled, if others can do it, I believe I can too. Lu Fengyao understood his implication. Over the years, only the Lufeng Merchant Guild had truly managed to establish a long-term foothold in the eastern continent. Lu Fengyao's eyes brightened. Actually, there's another way to gain a lot of fortune. Lin Moyu asked, what way? Lu Fengyao's eyes turned sharp. Go to the battlefield between humans and demons. Lin Moyu was slightly stunned. He knew that humans and demons were not on good terms and often had conflicts, especially with some demon clans looking down on humans. But he didn't know that humans and demons were actually at war. Small-scale conflicts and wars are two different concepts, fundamentally different in nature. Lu Fengyao explained, the major human forces in the southern continent and the various demon clans have accumulated too much hatred and conflict over countless years. The hatred has deepened over countless years, and eventually, the major forces in the southern continent united to form an army. The demon clans did the same, forming their own army. The two sides have been at war for countless years. Lu Fengyao mentioned, countless years, many times, indicating that the war had been going on for so long that it was impossible to pinpoint the exact time. Lin Moyu asked, why does going to war gain fortune? Lu Fengyao continued, in the army, there's a secret method. As long as you kill demons, you can gain fortune from them. So that's it, plundering fortune from demons. In this way, all forces would likely send people to participate. And this method is essentially no different from the Eastern Spirit Empire's attacks. Both are about killing for fortune. Lin Moyu asked, where is the battlefield? Lu Fengyao replied, in the north of the southern continent, south of the northern continent, on an island called Panlong Island in the Sea of Realms. There are several origin spirit veins on this island, and the battlefield is on it. The origin spirit veins make the island's terrain solid, and Panlong Island is large enough for cultivators to fight. It seems that the humans and demons have reached an agreement with the Sea Clan, and both sides have fixed routes to Panlong Island. The war between the two sides, apart from the conflict, is also about seizing each other's fortune and the origin spirit veins on Panlong Island, achieving multiple goals. Lin Moyu found it strange, why does an island have so many origin spirit veins? Lu Fengyao said, I don't know. It's said to be related to the king of the Sea of Realms. Moreover, there's a legend that Panlong Island has a 9th grade origin spirit vein, but it has never been found. Many people go there for this 9th grade origin spirit vein. A 9th grade origin spirit vein is a top-tier origin spirit vein, extremely valuable. In the history of the origin continent, 9th grade origin spirit veins have appeared only a few times. Several top forces are trying to upgrade their origin spirit veins to the 9th grade, but none have succeeded so far. If the Thunder Taoist had obtained a 9th grade origin spirit vein back then, he might have broken through the Tao Sovereign bottleneck. Lin Moyu thought to himself, if there's really a 9th grade origin spirit vein, it must be contested. Lin Moyu became interested in Panlong Island and thought he might go there in the future, but not now. Lu Fengyao sighed, so, there are many paths to the top. It depends on how you choose. Currently, establishing your own force is a good method. Although it's difficult, it's at least stable. Her words aligned with Lin Moyu's thoughts. They chatted as they wandered through the free market. The free market was huge, and it would take several days to see everything. Lin Moyu bought various treasures and materials, spending a small amount of money, which was nothing to him. Unfortunately, after the initial lucky find, he didn't encounter any more opportunities. However, another cursing match took place, this time between a customer and a stall owner, ending with the customer winning. After wandering for most of the day, the world tree suddenly stirred. Lin Moyu heard the world tree's intermittent voice, spirit vein, remnants. Lin Moyu's heart moved. There were remnants of a spirit vein here. His spiritual sense hadn't detected it, and the world tree couldn't pinpoint its location. Without the devouring mouse, he could only search item by item. Lin Moyu communicated with the world tree, try to find the direction. Chapter 2755, 2755. Chapter 2755, often unreliable, depends on luck. Lin Moyu activated his rule world, allowing the world tree to sense more clearly. Unfortunately, the world tree still couldn't accurately pinpoint the location. For now, he had to resort to some rudimentary methods. Lin Moyu randomly chose a direction and walked quickly. After less than 100 meters, the world tree sent a signal that its sensing had weakened. Weakened sensing meant the direction was wrong. Lin Moyu then retreated and tried another direction. If it was wrong, he would retreat and try again, repeating this process multiple times. Lu Fengyao followed Lin Moyu, moving back and forth, puzzled, what are you doing? Lin Moyu replied, I'm looking for something. Lu Fengyao was even more puzzled, you're looking for something this way? Lin Moyu nodded, yes. He didn't explain further, and Lu Fengyao could only choose to believe him, continuing to follow him back and forth. The free market was vast and complex, with intricate internal routes. After trying more than 10 times, Lin Moyu finally found the right path. After walking a few hundred meters and passing dozens of stalls, Lin Moyu finally locked onto a stall. The owner of this stall was a Dao sovereign, selling various rare ores. Lu Fengyao whispered in Lin Moyu's ear, he's a second-realm Dao sovereign. Lin Moyu could sense that the person was a Dao sovereign, but without activating the Eye of the Undead, he couldn't determine the exact realm. Unlike Lu Fengyao, who could see it at a glance. Just as Lin Moyu was about to approach, he suddenly stopped and took out the red scarf, wrapping it around his forehead. Once activated, the red scarf disappeared, and at that moment, the Sun origin and Tai Yin origin began to alternate. Seeing Lin Moyu's actions, Lu Fengyao looked puzzled but said nothing. The red scarf concealed the Tai Yin symbol, and Lin Moyu was enveloped in a faint glow. Under the Sun origin's light, the faint glow wasn't noticeable. But now, with the Tai Yin origin out, the surroundings darkened, and the faint glow around Lin Moyu became apparent. This was also a drawback of the divine light wood, it couldn't completely hide the divine light, and many perceptive people could clearly see that Lin Moyu was using the divine light wood. Concealing his aura, Lin Moyu approached the stall and greeted the owner, greetings, senior. The second realm Dao sovereign stall owner sat with his eyes closed, ignoring Lin Moyu, appearing somewhat arrogant. After a few seconds, he finally uttered a few words, look for yourself. Lin Moyu smiled slightly, not minding. There were all kinds of people in the world, and many had peculiar temperaments. If he took offense at everything, he would only be troubling himself. The stall was scattered with over 100 ores. These ores emitted a strong origin power, each being good refining materials. The worst were excellent materials for heavenly sovereigns, and a few were even suitable for Dao sovereigns. Lin Moyu picked up one ore, sensed it, and then put it down. Seeing that his actions didn't provoke the stall owner's displeasure, he continued. Throughout the day, he had encountered many stall owners. Some only allowed looking, not touching, while others were more enthusiastic, allowing free examination. This Dao sovereign remained indifferent, letting Lin Moyu examine as he pleased. Lin Moyu wasn't in a hurry, examining each item one by one. The origin power contained in these materials was strong. Without picking them up and sensing them carefully, it was impossible to distinguish which one contained the remnants of an origin spirit vein. It seemed like Lin Moyu was sensing, but it was actually the world tree doing the sensing. The world tree extended a tiny tendril from the real world, sticking to Lin Moyu's skin and using his hand to examine the materials. One by one, the stall owner showed no impatience, and Lin Moyu remained silent throughout, making the scene somewhat eerie. The seller was strange, and so was the buyer. Finally, when Lin Moyu examined the 59th ore, the world tree trembled violently, sending a wave of excitement, this is it, this is it. The ore in his hand had a green hue, like a beautiful jade, but upon closer inspection, it was full of impurities. The world tree was slightly excited, but Lin Moyu remained calm, putting the ore down. He continued examining other ores, one by one, just as before. Finally, at the 80th ore, a voice spoke, have you seen enough? Are you buying or not? For a thrilling read, visit Philo Novel Network. Lin Moyu replied, I've picked a few, but I want to see if there are any more suitable ones to buy together. The Dao sovereign slowly opened his eyes, which were deep and vast, making Lin Moyu feel like he was looking into the starry sky. The deep gaze swept over Lin Moyu, you've picked a few, but can you afford them? Lin Moyu smiled, I think I can. How about I pick a few first? He picked up 5 ores, these 5, please name your price. The Dao sovereign glanced at them and said casually, the prices are clearly marked, see for yourself. Only then did Lin Moyu notice a small sign behind the Dao sovereign, listing the prices. Each ore was priced at 200 third-grade premium origin crystals. Uniform prices for different materials. Lin Moyu understood that not everyone could clearly sense the quality of materials. Even some people in the Lufeng Merchant Guild had to use special methods or extensive experience to judge. He relied on his strong spiritual sense to roughly determine the quality of materials. Among the 5 materials he picked, besides the one containing the remnants of the origin spirit vein, 2 were suitable for heavenly sovereigns, and 2 were suitable for Tao sovereigns. Now it seemed he had been overthinking. Not a big deal, Lin Moyu thought to himself, taking out a 6th grade premium origin crystal, can I use this to pay? The Tao sovereign's eyes lit up, no problem. He quickly took the origin crystal from Lin Moyu, fearing he might change his mind. Lin Moyu simultaneously put the 5 ores into his storage space. The transaction was complete, and even if the seller wanted to back out, it was too late. This time, no one interrupted, and the transaction went smoothly. The Tao sovereign said, "All right, you can continue choosing." Lin Moyu smiled, picked a few more materials, and left with a total of 10. These materials were all suitable for Tao sovereigns, making them worth the price. Leaving the trading market, Lu Fengyao couldn't help but ask, "What exactly were you looking for earlier?" From the back and forth searching to finally buying those materials, Lu Fengyao knew Lin Moyu must have been after something special. She hadn't asked before, but now she finally did. Lin Moyu didn't keep her in suspense, a remnant of an origin spirit vein. Lu Fengyao's eyes widened, "What do you need that for?" Before Lin Moyu could answer, Lu Fengyao already guessed, "I see, you want to feed it to your origin spirit vein." Since Lin Moyu had established his own force, he must have an origin spirit vein. Lu Fengyao guessed that Lin Moyu's origin spirit vein wasn't very strong, so he needed remnants to nourish it. With such a good explanation, Lin Moyu didn't need to say more. Lu Fengyao continued, "But I'm curious, how did you find the remnant?" Lin Moyu smiled, "I have a strong spiritual sense, but it's often unreliable, depends on luck." Chapter 2756, 2756. Chapter 2756, Absorbing the remnants of the origin spirit vein. In the space where the 3rd ancestor of them all resided, a screen displayed Lin Moyu and Lu Fengyao's every move in the free market today. Their every word and action were clearly visible to the 3rd ancestor. The 3rd ancestor spoke softly, "Xiao Lian, what do you think?" Lu Lian's voice responded, "Lin Moyu and Miss Fengyao have a good relationship." The 3rd ancestor chuckled, "That's not what I'm asking. I want to know what you think of Lin Moyu as a person." Lu Lian evaluated honestly, cautious, intelligent, extremely talented. As long as he can survive, his future achievements will be limitless. The 3rd ancestor laughed, "It seems Xiao Lian holds him in high regard. Now, tell me, compared to Fengyao, who do you think will achieve more?" Lu Lian hesitated for a moment before speaking, "Based on my calculations, it's 50-50. The 3rd ancestor was slightly moved. This evaluation was even higher than before. Lu Fengyao was the guild's top priority, receiving unparalleled resources, training, and experience. Moreover, after becoming a Tao sovereign, her cultivation speed would only increase. Lu Lian was well aware of this, yet she still held such a high opinion of Lin Moyu. Lu Lian suddenly asked, "3rd ancestor, what do you think?" The 3rd ancestor laughed heartily, "What do I think? I'll just watch. At least this kid hasn't harbored any ill intentions towards Fengyao. He's passed the character test. Have you investigated the matter of the red scarf?" Lu Lian replied, "Yes, the red scarf ultimately belonged to the Coldwater Holy Land." The 3rd ancestor muttered, "Coldwater Holy Land, how did their item end up in his hands? What is his relationship with the Coldwater Holy Land?" After muttering to himself, the 3rd ancestor continued, "Who is the current Holy Master of the Coldwater Holy Land? Bring up their information, along with their recent purchase records." Lu Lian acknowledged and immediately pulled up the relevant data. The red scarf given to Lin Moyu by Jiyu Hanyu was actually called the Red Sun Scarf. Items containing the power of the sun origin were rare, and almost all of them passed through the Lufeng Merchant Guild. When Lin Moyu took out the red scarf, the 3rd ancestor already knew it came from a certain force. From this, he could deduce that Lin Moyu had some connection with that force. By following this lead, more information could be uncovered. After reviewing the data, the 3rd ancestor muttered, "The current Holy Master of the Coldwater Holy Land is a young woman, under 20,000 years old, at the 6th realm of Tao Sovereign. In her youth, she became a Tao Sovereign at the age of 8,000, becoming a prodigy and nearly surpassing her peers to become a top figure. Her talent is only slightly inferior to Fengyao's. Whether she can break through the Tao Sovereign realm is uncertain, but she has a 50% chance of reaching the 9th realm of Tao Sovereign." The red sun scarf ended up in her hands and now in Lin Moyu's. Clearly, she gave it to him, knowing he is the son of Tai Yin, to help him conceal his identity. But why did she give it to Lin Moyu? After knowing his identity, why didn't she react as expected? The third ancestor couldn't understand the reasoning. Normally, Ji Hanyu should have captured Lin Moyu. If she couldn't capture him, she should have killed him, not helped him. The current situation didn't match the information about Ji Hanyu. Ji Hanyu was decisive and ruthless, earning the nickname, God of Killing. While the third ancestor was puzzled, Lu Lian said, Ji Hanyu once bought a connected branch from us. The third ancestor was stunned for a moment, then laughed heartily, so that's it. Now it all makes sense. No wonder Lin Moyu said he already had a wife. His wife is Ji Hanyu. This is too amusing, truly too amusing. I wonder how the elders of the Coldwater Holy Land will react when they find out their holy master is with a young man. Their expressions will be priceless. While the third ancestor found it amusing, Lu Lian shivered, those elders will likely be very pleased. Lin Moyu is the son of Tai Yin, bringing them immense fortune. The third ancestor's laughter abruptly stopped. He had focused on Lin Moyu's cultivation but had forgotten his identity as the son of Tai Yin. From this perspective, the Coldwater Holy Land had nothing to worry about. The third ancestor sighed, it's not as amusing anymore. Living so long, why is it so hard to find some entertainment? Back in the courtyard, Lin Moyu used the sunstone to replenish the origin power of the red sun scarf. Each sunstone could replenish the origin power of the red sun scarf multiple times. The sunstone itself could also be recharged by exposure to the sun origin. 10 sunstones were enough for Lin Moyu to use indefinitely. The limitation of the red sun scarf was thus removed, eliminating the last shortcoming of this treasure. Lin Moyu no longer had to worry about exposing his identity as the son of Tai Yin. Sitting in the courtyard, Lin Moyu entered his soul world. He held the ore containing the remnants of the origin spirit vein and handed it to the world tree. The world tree extended its branches, enveloping the ore. A tremendous force erupted, shattering the ore, releasing a pure and powerful origin energy. The remnants of the origin spirit vein were hidden within the ore, making them hard to detect. Even Lin Moyu could only sense them upon direct contact. Only the world tree could sense the aura of the origin spirit vein remnants. Lin Moyu sighed, it seems to be a 4th grade origin spirit vein, but its core is destroyed, and the vein is exhausted. The reasons for the exhaustion of an origin spirit vein were varied, and the remnants alone couldn't reveal the cause. Lin Moyu didn't bother analyzing it. The last time the world tree absorbed a 2nd grade origin spirit vein remnant, it underwent significant changes, producing the Grand Emperor flower and world fruit. This time, absorbing a 4th grade origin spirit vein remnant should yield even more astonishing results. Go ahead and eat, Lin Moyu gently patted the world tree, conveying his intention. The world tree happily wrapped the origin spirit vein remnant and placed it at its roots. The origin energy was quickly absorbed, causing the entire world tree to tremble violently. The world tree grew rapidly, occupying more space in the soul world. Several branches broke through the barrier between the soul world and the larger world, entering the larger world. In Lin Moyu's rule world, there were 3 distinct layers. The upper layer was the larger world, where humans lived. The middle layer was his soul world, his core. The lower layer was the bone hell. The 3 regions were distinct, but the world tree had broken through this barrier, entering the upper layer. Lin Moyu didn't stop it. The entire larger world was under his control, and the world tree's entry wouldn't cause any issues. Even if someone discovered the world tree, it wouldn't matter. Flowers bloomed on the world tree, and world fruits began to mature, emitting a tempting fragrance. The world tree's sap flowed abundantly, forming a silver lake beneath it, creating a beautiful scene. Chapter 2757, 2757. Chapter 2757, Feeling like a nouveau riche. Looking at the blooming spirit flowers and the ripening world fruits, Lin Moyu smiled. He could feel that the power of the spirit flowers had increased, and their effect should have also enhanced, although they hadn't undergone a qualitative change yet. The world fruits were the same, stronger than before but not yet reaching a qualitative transformation. The world tree was still in its growth phase and hadn't reached the next stage. Lin Moyu was very curious about how miraculous the world tree would be when it reached its peak. He believed that day would come and was filled with anticipation. The biggest change this time was in the world tree's sap. Previously, the world tree's sap was as clear as water, just slightly more viscous than regular water. But this time, the sap flowing from the world tree was not only more viscous but also emitted a silver glow. The silver glow seemed to have a special magic, making it hard to look away once noticed. The previously secreted world tree sap had already formed a lake, and now a large amount of new sap flowed out, falling into the lake beneath the tree. The originally clear lake was now tinged with a silver glow. The scale of the lake was shrinking, but its quality was improving. The world tree sap flowed for a full half-hour before stopping. By then, the lake's size had shrunk by at least half, and Lin Moyu knew that the effectiveness of the world tree sap had greatly increased. Apart from the sap, the leaves of the world tree had also undergone a qualitative change. Some of the emerald green leaves were now tinged with a silver glow, similar to the world tree sap. Faintly, Lin Moyu felt that these leaves seemed to possess a trace of spirituality. However, upon closer inspection, this trace of spirituality disappeared, as if it were just an illusion. I must be overthinking. Spiritual materials. If the world tree's leaves became spiritual materials, wouldn't I be rich? Lin Moyu laughed at his own wishful thinking. Such fantastical things were unlikely to happen. Once the changes in the world tree stopped, Lin Moyu eagerly checked the attribute changes of the world tree. World tree growth phase. Ability 1, Rebirth. When receiving fatal damage, the user will be reborn, instantly recovering to peak condition, and all skills will have their cooldowns reset. This can be triggered continuously 7 times within 20 seconds. Afterward, this ability will enter a cooldown period. Ability 2, Fruit. The world tree will produce world fruits. Consuming a world fruit can create a rule world. For those who already have a rule world, consuming it can enhance their rule world. Consumption requirement. Beyond realm. Ability 3, Spirit Flower. The mature spirit flowers can heal any injury. If used by members of the undead army, it can grant them intelligence. Ability 4, Leaves. The leaves of the world tree are excellent refining materials. Some mutated leaves may evolve spirituality, becoming spiritual materials. Ability 5, Silver Sap. The silver sap can greatly enhance cultivation speed. Consuming it during cultivation can increase the speed by 1 to 10 times. Long-term consumption can significantly improve the integration with the Great Tao and enhance cultivation aptitude. Daily production, 1,000 drops. Lin Moyu murmured to himself, indeed, it's stronger than before, but it's still in the growth phase and hasn't reached the next stage. The rebirth ability's trigger count increased from 6 to 7, which is an enhancement but not a fundamental change. The world fruits and spirit flowers are the same, stronger than before but not qualitatively different. The biggest changes are in the leaves and sap. Some leaves have mutated, and these silver leaves indeed possess a trace of spirituality. But they are still evolving, and this trace of spirituality is not enough. They need to continue evolving to eventually become spiritual materials. Lin Moyu hadn't expected that the leaves of the world tree could potentially evolve into spiritual materials. This was an astonishing thought, as the world tree's wonders far exceeded his imagination. With spiritual materials, the infinite fusion ability could be continuously strengthened, becoming ever more powerful. Once this positive cycle began, Lin Moyu felt his future path would be bright. Suppressing his soul-deep excitement, he looked at the sap that had also undergone a qualitative change. Silver sap. The silver sap can greatly enhance cultivation speed. Depending on the user's aptitude, the enhancement can range from 1 to 10 times. Additionally, long-term consumption can improve cultivation aptitude and the integration with the Great Tao. The higher the integration with the Great Tao, the more Great Tao laws one can mobilize with each bit of power. At the same realm, a Tao sovereign with higher Great Tao integration often has stronger combat power. Previously, the sap wasn't very useful to me, but now it's different. The silver sap surpasses all kinds of auxiliary cultivation treasures and spiritual foods. The world tree, as the foundation of his talent, played an unimaginably significant role. For some reason, Lin Moyu thought of the system that had disappeared for many years. Back then, the system had helped him obtain 3 talent flames, playing a significant role. It had also saved him once after it left. Since then, the system hadn't appeared again, and Lin Moyu occasionally missed it. If you're still around, maybe one day we'll meet again. Lin Moyu took a deep breath and brought out the spiritual material he had purchased. It seemed like a spiritual material, but he wasn't sure. He picked up the scourge staff and lightly tapped it a few times. As expected, the surface of the material cracked, and a faint trace of spirituality emerged. The surface was like a layer of skin covering a beautiful jade. Once the skin was removed, the true beauty of the jade was revealed. Infinite fusion suddenly flew down, appearing in front of Lin Moyu in an instant. I want to eat. It had sensed the spiritual material, just as the world tree had sensed the remnants of the origin spirit vein. Once Lin Moyu confirmed it was indeed a spiritual material, he didn't bother to check its grade. Knowing it wouldn't change the outcome, he decided to let infinite fusion consume it immediately. Infinite fusion devoured the spiritual material in one bite, then contentedly flew back to slowly digest it. I feel like a nouveau riche. Lin Moyu muttered to himself, having fed two entities and then checked on the Lingshu insect beast mother and child. They were also happily eating. As origin spirit beasts, their deepest instinct was to consume origin crystals and continuously evolve. It had been decades since their last evolution. In these decades, they had consumed many origin crystals, but the next evolution was still far off. The evolution of origin spirit beasts often took thousands or tens of thousands of years. Even with Lin Moyu's unlimited supply of high-grade origin crystals, it would still take considerable time. Lin Moyu wasn't in a hurry. The advancement of the origin spirit vein was inherently difficult and needed to be taken step by step. Finally, Lin Moyu visited the human emperor, who was still absorbing and organizing the vast amount of information Lin Moyu had provided. Only a portion had been sorted out, and there was still a long way to go. Returning to reality and looking at the Tai Yin origin still hanging high in the sky, Lin Moyu took out a drop of silver sap to test its effect. Chapter 2758, 2758. Chapter 2758, Prepare some sunflower seeds to avoid boredom. The silver tree sap entered his mouth and exploded, sending a magical force directly to his soul. Lin Moyu felt that in an instant, his soul was sublimated, as if he had left this world and entered another dimension. In this dimension, countless great Taos appeared before him, endless and innumerable. It felt as though these great Taos were within reach, yet they were incredibly distant, completely untouchable. Then, three great Taos appeared clearly before him. Immortality, time, and space of these three great Taos became distinct, and Lin Moyu felt closer to them than ever before. He knew this was the effect of the silver tree sap, and he immediately seized the opportunity to begin comprehending the great Taos. The profound truths of the great Taos surged towards him. If the insights gained from cultivating with the Tai Yin and Sun origins were like small streams, and cultivating with the origin spirit vein was like crossing a small river, then adding various spiritual foods and treasures would turn the small river into a large river. But now, the large river was no longer sufficient to describe the torrent of great Tao insights. It was more like a surging ocean. Lin Moyu felt his cultivation speed increase tenfold, reaching the upper limit of the silver tree sap. If he could return to the origin spirit vein and use the silver tree sap, his cultivation speed might turn into a tsunami. The accelerated cultivation speed not only saved time but also broke through bottlenecks. It wasn't until he heard knocking at the door again that Lin Moyu woke up from his cultivation. Through the array, Lin Moyu saw that it was Lu Fengyao. At this time, the Tai Yin origin was high in the sky, and the Tai Yin symbol on Lin Moyu's forehead was glowing. Since Lu Fengyao knew he was the son of Tai Yin, he didn't need to hide it from her. Lin Moyu smiled, "Sister Fengyao, where are you taking me today?" Lu Fengyao, slightly annoyed, said, "What did I tell you that day? I told you to wait for me here the next day, and you went straight into seclusion for 10 days. Lin Moyu was taken aback. "I cultivated for 10 days. He hadn't realized that he had been cultivating for 10 days. The effect of a single drop of silver tree sap lasted for 10 days. Lin Moyu felt a bit embarrassed. "I lost track of time while cultivating. Why didn't you come to wake me up, Sister Fengyao?" Lu Fengyao said, "Lu Lian told me not to disturb you. Since it wasn't urgent, I didn't come to wake you. But the prodigy gathering is tomorrow, and if you didn't wake up, I had to come and get you." Lin Moyu smiled, "Good thing I didn't miss it. It would be a shame to miss such a rare opportunity." Lu Fengyao said, "It seems you're quite interested in those prodigies." Lin Moyu replied, "As a cultivator who considers himself talented, I naturally want to see the prodigies of this era." Lu Fengyao sighed, "I hope there's someone who can satisfy you. But with your standards, you might be disappointed." Lin Moyu smiled, "I'm just a small heavenly sovereign. It's already an honor to attend. I don't have high expectations." Lu Fengyao snorted, "Once you become a Tao sovereign, those guys will be no match for you." Lin Moyu smiled but didn't respond. He thought to himself, if it comes to life and death, even if they all gang up on me, they wouldn't be enough. That day, the mall was bustling. The once-in-a-millennium prodigy gathering was no secret, many cultivators knew about it. Although most couldn't participate, it didn't stop them from gossiping. The participants of the prodigy gathering were all under 10,000 years old and had reached the Tao sovereign realm, truly the cream of the crop. Just this fact alone provided enough hype. Even before the prodigy gathering started, discussions filled every corner of the mall. Time flies. Another 1,000 years have passed, and the prodigy gathering is upon us again. I wonder who will dominate this time and earn the title of the strongest prodigy. I remember last time, the title went to the Holy Son of the Illusory God Sect. The Holy Son of the Illusory God Sect reached the third realm of Tao Sovereign before 10,000 years old, so it's no surprise he won. But this time, he's over 10,000 and can't participate. I heard no one has reached the third realm of Tao Sovereign this time, so the competition will be fiercer. I also heard that Fairy Fengyao from the Lu Feng Merchant Guild has reached the Tao Sovereign realm and will participate. Unfortunately, Fairy Fengyao is only at the first realm of Tao Sovereign, and the prodigy gathering forbids the use of any treasures, focusing solely on cultivation. Fairy Fengyao's advantage isn't obvious. Fairy Fengyao is the heir groomed by the Lu Feng Merchant Guild. Reaching the first realm of Tao Sovereign before 7,000 years old is impressive. Even if she doesn't win this time, she will surely win in the future. Discussions about Lu Fengyao were the most frequent. The Lu Feng Merchant Guild wasn't low-key. They had announced early on that Lu Fengyao, under 7,000 years old, had reached the Tao Sovereign realm, showcasing her extraordinary talent. Even if she didn't win this time, she had several more chances in the future. Lin Moyu heard these discussions on the way. Sister Fengyao, is the title of the strongest prodigy important? Lu Fengyao replied, important, but not that important. The prodigy gathering is a showcase for various forces to display their airs and for the prodigies to see others and avoid arrogance. Those guys are very proud, thinking they're second only to the heavens and looking down on everyone. Lu Fengyao's tone carried a hint of disdain, clearly looking down on those prodigies. Lin Moyu had a guess. The title of the strongest prodigy is for fortune, right? Lu Fengyao said, yes, it's for fortune. Although it's not much, it's still something. The fortune from the prodigy gathering is better than nothing. Lu Fengyao didn't seem to realize the importance of fortune yet. She was only at the first realm of Tao Sovereign and had only a superficial understanding of fortune. But Lin Moyu, due to various reasons, was well aware of its importance. The strongest prodigy should gather a lot of fortune, so it couldn't be insignificant. However, Lu Fengyao wasn't wrong. The fortune she lost wasn't much, easily replenished, so it didn't matter much. But if everyone lost a bit of fortune, it would accumulate, and the one who gained the title of the strongest prodigy would benefit greatly. Lin Moyu asked, how is the strongest prodigy determined at the prodigy gathering? Lu Fengyao said, it's complicated, with many rules. You'll see when the time comes. Just treat it as a show and watch those guys perform. You don't need to have any opinions, just enjoy it. By the way, you might want to prepare some sunflower seeds or snacks to avoid boredom. Chapter 2759, 2759. Chapter 2759, most people are like frogs in a well. According to Lu Fengyao, she had attended the prodigy gathering 3 times, but each time as an observer. Because this was the mall, her special status allowed her to participate without affecting the quota. The first time she observed, Lu Fengyao's realm was very low, only at the supreme level, and she couldn't understand the techniques of the Tao sovereigns. The second time, she had become a heavenly sovereign and could understand a bit more. By the third time, she was already a mid-level heavenly sovereign and could comprehend much more. However, she found all 3 times rather boring, far less interesting than the cursing matches in the free market. This was her 4th time, and she was no longer an observer but a participant. Having observed 3 times, she was very familiar with the prodigy gathering and lacked interest. If it weren't for the insistence of the elders in the guild, she wouldn't have bothered to come. Along the way, Lin Moyu heard many famous names. The current Holy Son of the Coldwater Holy Land, Ji Baiquan. The current Holy Maiden of the 7-Star Holy Land, Kai Sha. The direct heir of the Heavenly Spirit Sect, Guo Qingling. Each name represented a contemporary prodigy, all top figures in their respective major forces. Besides the heirs of the top forces, there were also heirs from slightly weaker forces, many of whom were also outstanding talents. Even if they weren't as top tier, they came with the attitude of broadening their horizons. Lin Moyu had the human emperor search for information on Jiyu Hanyu and found that she had also participated in the prodigy gathering in her time, dominating and winning the title of the strongest prodigy. This achievement solidified her position as the heir of the Coldwater Holy Land. The prodigy gathering wasn't as simple as Lu Fengyao thought. Countless eyes from top forces watched the prodigy gathering, observing their disciples' performances. Even as prodigies, if they performed too poorly, they could lose their status. Top forces never lacked talented heirs. Each generation had many vying for position. Only the truly outstanding could emerge victorious. For example, the winner of the last prodigy gathering, the holy son of the illusory god sect, had already established his position. Once he reached the 6th realm of Tao Sovereign, he could become the new holy master of the illusory god sect. Lu Fengyao led Lin Moyu into the venue of the prodigy gathering. The venue was set in a garden-like small square, with a circular lake in the center. Around the lake were seats, each marked with a name, and everyone had to sit in their designated spot. The seating arrangement subtly indicated each person's status. From this alone, it was clear that the prodigy gathering had many implicit rules. Lu Fengyao pointed to the largest and most special seat across the lake. That seat is reserved for the one who wins the title of the strongest prodigy. Starting from the left of that seat, the order is left 1, right 1, left 2, right 2. The seating reflects status. The specific ranking is based on cultivation level and past performance. Some participants had attended previous gatherings, so their past performance was also considered. Lin Moyu noticed that those in the front seats were mostly at the 2nd realm of Tao Sovereign. The difference between realms in Tao Sovereign was significant, making it hard for a 1st realm Tao Sovereign to defeat a 2nd realm one. For this reason, many believed Lu Fengyao had little chance this time. She would need to reach the 2nd realm of Tao Sovereign to have a chance at winning the title of the strongest prodigy. Lu Fengyao quickly found her seat, ranked 10th on the left side. As a newcomer, her position wasn't too bad. Behind Lu Fengyao was a smaller chair, prepared for someone like Lin Moyu. Lu Fengyao said, "Take a seat. We arrived early, and others haven't come yet. Soon you'll see those self-important guys. By the way, the guy who gave you trouble in the free market should be here too. If there's a chance, I'll teach him a lesson and show him why the flowers are so red." Lin Moyu smiled, "Go easy on him." Although he didn't know Lu Fengyao's strength, her confidence suggested she had the ability. She likely had all the information about that person's identity and deeds. After all, this was the mall, and Lu Fengyao was the biggest local authority here. Lin Moyu had a feeling that the guy was in for some trouble. Scanning the area, he saw there were 100 prodigy seats, meaning 100 prodigies. Each prodigy could bring one person, so there would be 200 people in total. That's quite a lot of prodigies. People often said there weren't many heavenly sovereigns under 10,000 years old, but seeing this, there were quite a few Tao sovereigns under 10,000 years old. It showed that most people's views were limited, like frogs in a well, seeing only a small part of the sky above them. Lin Moyu looked up at the sky, which was hazy, not the clear blue sky one would expect. He faintly sensed an array. There's an array up there. Inside the array should be those who came to observe. Only 100 prodigies could participate in the gathering, but there were many more observers. During the gathering, many Tao sovereigns would come to watch without participating. They would stay outside, observing the proceedings. Everything happening in the gathering would be visible to them. Lin Moyu was shrouded in divine light, using the divine light wood to conceal his information. How many people it could fool was uncertain. He had also activated the red sun scarf, using the sunstone to replenish its origin power. He didn't want his identity as the son of Tai Yin to be exposed, at least not yet. The third ancestor had warned that many old figures from various forces were shameless. Soon, people began arriving at the venue. The first to arrive was a young man at the 1st realm of Tao Sovereign, under 10,000 years old, exuding a youthful aura. Behind him was a beautiful woman, a high-level heavenly sovereign, stronger than Lin Moyu. The young man was polite to the woman, but she seemed somewhat aloof, as if she were the prodigy and he was just accompanying her. Lu Fengyao explained, "This is the senior disciple of the 6-star Force Gale sect, Tao Sovereign Zifeng. Behind him is the only daughter of the Gale sect's leader, Fairy Linglin." Zifeng likes Fairy Linglin, but she doesn't seem interested in him. His talent is decent, but his temperament is average. Unless something changes, he won't achieve great things. Lu Fengyao introduced them like she was reciting from a book. Lin Moyu knew this information must have come from Lu Lian. Zifeng's seat was ranked 40th on the right, much lower than Lu Fengyao's. Fairy Linglin seemed displeased, clearly unhappy with the seating arrangement. She looked at Lu Fengyao, as if questioning why they were both first-realm Dao sovereigns, but Lu Fengyao could sit so much closer to the front. Lu Fengyao didn't care. To her, Fairy Linglin and the Gale sect were insignificant. More newcomers arrived, and Lu Fengyao continued to introduce them to Lin Moyu. One by one, everyone who entered was known to Lu Fengyao. The intelligence-gathering ability of the Lu Feng Merchant Guild was indeed terrifying. Chapter 2760, 2760. Chapter 2760, My friend doesn't want to scare you. Lu Fengyao's introduction was very detailed, and Lin Moyu listened attentively. The information he had purchased also contained details about these people, but compared to Lu Fengyao's introduction, it was not comprehensive enough. Many details about the Lu Feng Merchant Guild were not for sale, and while information is information, people are people. No amount of information could compare to Lu Fengyao's personal introductions. While Lu Fengyao introduced each person, Lin Moyu observed their expressions, movements, and eyes. This allowed him to get more accurate results, and he could even infer the situation of the forces behind them. Each force's heirs had their own characteristics, and while there might be some deviations, they were generally consistent. For example, disciples of the Cold Water Holy Land were mostly cold and arrogant. Disciples of the Heavenly Sword sect often carried a sharp sword aura. More people arrived, but the top 10 seats on both sides remained empty, with only Lu Fengyao seated early. According to Lu Fengyao, those people had big egos and would not arrive early. Lu Fengyao had arrived early partly because of Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu understood and appreciated Lu Fengyao's kindness, keeping it in mind. Finally, a prodigy at the second realm of Dao Sovereign entered the venue. Lu Fengyao's eyes sharpened. Finally, a main contender has arrived. The main contenders, Lu Fengyao referred to, were those qualified to compete for the title of the strongest prodigy. Lin Moyu looked at the newcomer's attire. This person is from the Myriad Scenery Holy Land. Lu Fengyao said, his name is Tian Huan, also a holy son of the Myriad Scenery Holy Land. The Myriad Scenery Holy Land had more than one holy son. The title of the strongest prodigy in the previous prodigy gathering was won by the illusory god Holy Son from the Myriad Scenery Holy Land. However, this time, he was over the age limit and could not participate. Lu Fengyao said, he ranks just below the illusory god Holy Son in the Myriad Scenery Holy Land. Lin Moyu asked, I heard that competition for the Holy Master position in the Myriad Scenery Holy Land is fierce. Lu Fengyao nodded slightly. Most forces are like this. After the illusory god Holy Son won the title of the strongest prodigy, he basically secured his qualification to inherit the position of Holy Master. But some people won't give up. If Tian Huan wins the title of the strongest prodigy this time, he will also qualify to compete with the illusory god Holy Son for the Holy Master position. Lin Moyu nodded. Competition brings motivation, otherwise, it would be stagnant. Lu Fengyao smiled. You're right, but not entirely. A top force's true strength lies in its foundation. Often, the heir is just a figurehead. In her view, a top force's strength came from its foundation, and the heir was often just a spokesperson. In a force, the real decision-maker might not be the one in the spotlight. Tian Huan took his seat at the right third position, very close to the front. Only 5 people ranked higher than him. Behind Tian Huan was a peak heavenly sovereign, very young and powerful, just a step away from becoming a Dao sovereign. If he became a Dao sovereign, he would likely be a prodigy. Lin Moyu guessed that this person was part of Tian Huan's entourage. If Tian Huan won the title of the strongest prodigy, there would undoubtedly be fierce competition within the Myriad Scenery Holy Land. One by one, more prodigies arrived, each exuding confidence and powerful auras as they entered the venue. Many of the prodigies who had arrived earlier were overshadowed by the newcomers. There were differences even among prodigies. The front seats were gradually filled. Lin Moyu's eyes narrowed slightly. I didn't expect her to come. Lu Fengyao followed Lin Moyu's gaze. The current holy son of the Cold Water Holy Land, Ji Baiquan. Do you have a grudge against him? Lin Moyu shook his head. It's my first time seeing him. I was referring to the person behind him. Behind Gu Baiquan was a young woman, only at the low-level heavenly sovereign realm, making her one of the weaker ones present. Lu Fengyao said, her name is Gu Nianshui, a direct descendant of the Gu family, but she doesn't practice the Gu family's techniques. Lin Moyu nodded, she practices the legacy of the Horned Dragon Star Monarch. It's been years since we last met, and she's already a heavenly sovereign. Her cultivation speed is impressive. Lu Fengyao's ears twitched slightly, seemingly listening to something. Lin Moyu knew it was Lu Lian providing information about Gu Nianshui. Lu Fengyao said, in less than 100 years, she advanced from supreme to heavenly sovereign. Such cultivation speed is indeed astonishing. The cold water holy land likely opened a secret vault for her. The Horned Dragon Star Monarch's legacy requires constant killing to quickly advance. She'll probably head to the battlefield soon, where she can cultivate even faster. If she survives, she'll have a place among the prodigies in the future. Gu Baiquan took the 9th seat on the left, just 1 seat away from Lu Fengyao. This generation of heirs from the Coldwater Holy Land wasn't as strong, lacking the brilliance of Gu Hanyu's era. After taking his seat, Gu Baiquan looked at Lu Fengyao and smiled, long time no see, Fairy Fengyao. I hope you've been well. They had met at the previous prodigy gathering and knew each other. Lu Fengyao smiled back, thank you for your concern, Taoist Baiquan. Do you have any plans for this time? Gu Baiquan laughed heartily, my talent is mediocre, I have no plans. I'm just here to show my cousin the world. If not for that, I wouldn't have come. Though his aura was cold, he spoke warmly. At this moment, Gu Baiquan's gaze fell on Lin Moyu, as this Fairy Fengyao's relative. Lu Fengyao said, he's my friend. Gu Baiquan said, anyone who can be Fairy Fengyao's friend must be an outstanding talent. Lin Moyu was shrouded in divine light, so Gu Baiquan could only see his cultivation level but not other information. Lu Fengyao said, my friend doesn't want to scare you, so he's using the divine light wood. Gu Baiquan didn't fully believe it but smiled, I see. Then please don't scare me, I'm quite timid. Lin Moyu smiled without speaking, not caring about Gu Baiquan. He was more focused on observing Gu Nianshui. He wondered what Gu Nianshui had experienced over the years. She seemed more composed and exuded a faint killing intent, a trait of the Horned Dragon Star Monarch's legacy. Gu Nianshui also noticed Lin Moyu. She didn't greet him, only nodding slightly, as if meeting for the first time. Gu Nianshui hid her emotions well, but Lin Moyu's spiritual sense detected her battle intent towards him. It wasn't killing intent but a desire to fight him. Besides that, there was a hint of surprise, as if she hadn't expected to see him here. Boom! The previously calm lake suddenly erupted with a water column shooting into the sky. Within the water column, a lotus flower bloomed brightly. On the lotus flower stood a beautiful woman, ethereal and divine. She was stunningly beautiful, exuding an otherworldly aura. Just by standing there, she captured most people's attention. Lu Fengyao whispered, the current holy maiden of the ancient Lotus Holy Land, regarded as the most outstanding in 10,000 years.